Okay, we have a green box and we have a live counter, so we should be live or very soon will be live.
We are.
Well, without further ado, hello there, everybody. We're talking about Marvel movies, which for some reason, it's now cool to hate.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Because they're the new big thing.
Yeah, but that's still a stupid reason to hate something.
Of course it is, but it's not going to stop people.
Okay, can I I will say this, Jack. You
Yes.
realize probably the majority of reasons for hatred are stupid.
You're not wrong.
There's very few legitimate reasons to hate something, so it really shouldn't be surprising that people hate things for stupid Marvel for stupid reasons.
And a lot of the good reasons for hating stuff involve bigotry.
Those aren't good reasons then.
No, it involves
No,
hating the people
when I
who
say when I say
practice
bigotry, I mean hating things because they have bigotry in them, not hating
Ah,
things
yes.
because you are bigoted. If you hate things
That
because you
that
are bigoted, that's a bad reason.
Or the problem in
right.
that
I
case.
just
Yeah,
misheard
you're the
that.
problem. If you hate something because it's got bigotry in it, that's when you're in the right.
Well, it depends on if it's justifying bigotry or not. If it's like a depiction of bigotry, that's another thing entirely.
Yes, no, we're explicitly referring to works that are inherently bigoted by their
Yes.
nature, as opposed
Yes.
to some sort of discussion.
You know, something like, let's say, Shield Hero.
Rowling. Oh yeah, that too.
I mean, we could have gone for Rowling as well. Piss off a
I
lot more
expected
people
you
as
to go
well.
for Rowling, honestly.
Same.
Kind of,
Uh,
or your thing.
Oh, hating a lot of things is my thing. Or at least it's
but
one of
not
my
this thing.
things.
Well, I would say it's more my thing than your thing, honestly.
Yeah, back when we did FMK, you were the designated knife person. That's why you're ducking the knife now.
Yeah, I still feel like you guys were being at
I
least
would
in the early seasons. You got
first
much
first
better later on.
first season we were absolutely too lenient. There was no way some of
Oh
that
yeah.
stuff should have survived past like week 3. I would say
I mean,
after
the
that
thing.
after that season, which I think was spring, summer and fall, I think we were a lot better about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like to a certain extent I was probably overcompensating for the early seasons.
Mm.
It got hard to get out of the habit.
Mm.
Like,
But anyways,
yeah,
that's a different subject entirely.
Just so you know,
we're
we
talking
did
about
we
Marvel.
just one last thing. Just so you know, we did only kill dumbbells for you, so that you would stop having to watch it every week. I'm fairly sure
Mhm.
And
both
I
Jack.
appreciate that.
I'm fairly sure both Jack and
Oh,
I continued to watch it.
yeah, we actually finished it. I know
Yeah,
I did.
I enjoyed it.
It was a
Frankly,
fun show.
Uh, Biggest highlight of Dumbbells for me was when they introduced one character and I was able to take solace in the fact that he got murdered by having his neck twisted 360 degrees in
Oh, I
the
thought you were happy
actual
with
series.
Barnold Schwarzenegger.
Barney
No,
Schwarzenegger was a pretty big fucking highlight.
he
I think
was
we killed it
good.
before that happened, though. Is the thing.
No, but I saw the memes.
Hmm.
So,
Anyways, we're getting off track.
And
As
Jason
per usual.
Sugatham. Jeez, fucking Sugatham. Oh god. Yes. So, MCU Phase 3 Part 2. So, Infinity War to Far
there's
From
a
Home.
lot of qualifiers.
Yeah, Phase 3 is too big though. It's like
Three is massive. It's
it's
hard
like
to just.
twice the size of the other phases.
Oh
Yes, it is
my.
almost exactly twice the size. It's 11 films to 6.
And like there are some big fucking important movies in this phase.
Yep.
Including ones that you kind of wish weren't big and important.
We'll get to that when we get to that.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Like I said, we'll get to that when we get to that.
But we are starting off with Avengers Infinity War.
Which is probably one of the most consequential movies in the
Yeah.
entire franchise.
It's also a movie people really misunderstood the idea of a villain protagonist and like kind of got confused between protagonist and good guy.
Hmm.
It's like
I mean, the writers didn't. The writers knew that Thanos was evil.
writers didn't, but the fandom there was like.
All the Thanos did nothing wrong memes are just so annoying at this point.
So the thing is, the memes were funny. The people who bought it and like were doing it unironically, that was the yikes.
Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
Oh yeah,
Ugh. That one still stings.
Infinity War's ending is kind of amazing because
It's
what other franchises can you think of where they kill off half the cast, several of whom are major actors and characters?
yeah, it stings right up until the point where you
leave it
realize
at
that
the end of
then
the movie.
it stings right up until the point where you realize they're never going to kill off Spider-Man when they've only done one movie.
Well, and also it stops stinging when you realize that none of the characters are involved are named Uncle Ben. That is literally the only iron rule of Marvel Comics. The only character who does not come back to life is Uncle Ben. That's it. It's literally just him.
Does he even exist in the MCU?
He's implied to exist, but there's
He's
nothing.
He's implied.
Like we've
Like
seen
he
Uncle
was
Ben die
almost
so many
entirely
times.
ousted.
We've seen him die so many times. I don't think we need to see
And
him
no one
die yet
actually
again.
like. At this point, even if you've never heard of Spider-Man, you probably know that Uncle Ben dies.
It's like a staple of superheroes that someone has to die in the origin story, and it's always been Uncle Ben for Spider-Man.
You know what's funny? There used to be the Holy Trinity of characters who will never be resurrected.
Yeah, and two of them
then
came back anyways.
And then two of them came back. Yes.
Who are
The
those
other two
two?
were Bucky Barnes and Jason Todd.
Ah,
All right, I forgot it wasn't Marvel exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah, but Bucky came back.
Jason
in
Todd
the-
didn't even take that long to come back to life.
Yeah, like a little over a decade, I think. He died in the 90s, if I recall correctly.
And he died in the Dark Ages.
Yeah. But anyways, back to Infinity War.
just one last thing. It's a shock that nobody has had Uncle Ben be played by Sean Bean yet.
God fucking damn it! Now I'm picturing it.
Oh God! Now you know what? There's nothing to say that can't happen because technically we've not received any sort of Uncle Ben flashbacks in the MCU.
Yeah, he has not
There's
been portrayed by
nothing
an
to say
actor.
that there can't be a flashback at some point in which he is played by Sean Bean.
That would
I
be
think
pretty
the
damn
I think the issue is that Spider-Man has always been American, and Sean Bean, I'm not sure if he can do an American accent with his
He doesn't
Yorkshire.
have to talk. He doesn't have to talk. He can just get shot. Like, literally, all you need from him in the flashback is for him to get shot.
No, just imagining it, just a fully Yorkshire Sean Bean just going, with great power comes great responsibility.
Oh no! Oh God! Again, to be fair, there's no guarantee that Uncle Ben can't be.
It can't be a gruff Yorkshireman.
Like, who knows? Like, Aunt May's been places. Might have found love across the pond.
I was just, oh god. Anyway, yeah, Infinity War. Are you gonna make me do a summary?
We don't need to do a summary. This is like the big.
If you
epic
haven't
crossover
watched
that-
Infinity War,
What?
then
Why the
you
fuck are
haven't
you
watched-
watching this? Yeah.
Yes, no. If you haven't watched Infinity War, then you just don't like Marvel movies, and that's okay.
Infinity War was probably at the point that it was released the best of the MCU movies, bar maybe a couple of them like the original Avengers and Spider-Man: Homecoming.
There is
The interesting thing is though that aside from the memes, like I would say that in terms of actual pop culture impact, I would say Civil War made more of an impact than Infinity War. In terms of me, like not a Marvel fan, seeing stuff about it out and about. Like there was so much fucking stuff about Civil War.
It's because everyone's favorite couple was having an argument over
And they were
one of their.
having a really bad breakup.
It was over like the ex-boyfriend too, which is not even the ex-boyfriend, right? It's like, oh well, my dead boyfriend is suddenly back to life.
That is cool. That would be quite awkward for a relationship.
Yes, but we're getting lost in the weeds again. Infinity War, for what it was, is just like it was the first. It wasn't the culmination, but it was the beginning of the culmination of everything the MCU had been building up to that point.
Well, I mean, it was the start of the climax to the Thanos arc.
Yeah, and it really earned all the hype that it's had going into it. What with all the massive battle sequences, the sweeping story, and all the interconnecting character arcs across the movie.
Would you say it was perhaps the greatest crossover event in history?
I wouldn't say in history, but for the time, probably.
You say for the time, wasn't that movie like a couple of years ago?
It was 3.5 years ago. Oh, almost 4 years ago now.
Yeah,
Only
that's
3
like
years and a
I
couple
think
months.
April
we're not
2018.
yet at a. I think we're not yet at a place where we're qualified to say that 2018 was a long time ago, guys.
It feels like a long time ago, okay?
It was before the end times, damn it. That's a long time ago.
That's a fair point. It was in the before times.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a long time, and honestly, like, this was the big crossover event of that year. For good reason. A lot of shit happens in this movie, and it's pretty unique for an MCU movie in that it has a villain protagonist in Thanos.
As a well done villain protagonist
Mm-hmm.
who gave rise to an entire generation of I'm 14 r/I'm 14 and this is deep people saying that Thanos did nothing wrong unironically.
See, it's fine when it's a meme, but if you actually mean it, that's like, what is wrong with you?
It was probably a mistake to have Infinity War coincide with like the peak of Rick and Morty's popularity.
Ugh. Let's not talk about Rick and Morty on this.
I mean,
But
am
anyways,
I wrong?
Let's
No.
not talk about Rick and Morty on this. Anyways, Thanos is a really well done character, which is kind of funny, honestly, because of the meme of him just doing absolutely fuck all in the MCU prior to this movie.
He's a slow starter, but once he gets going, he really fucks shit up.
Yep.
He's a grower, not a shower.
Cause he in his in the opening scene, he fucking curb stomps Thor, Hulk, Loki, and Heimdall.
And he's just straight up murders the latter two.
Yeah. Frankly, he should have murdered Thor, except for the fact that fanboys and girls would not allow Thor to die.
To be fair, Thor is really fun in these movies.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm one of those people, but I'm just saying there's no chance Thor was dying here.
Well, to be fair, Thor did return the favor by not murdering him when he really, really should have.
He should have gone for the head.
In fairness, how was he to know that everybody else had been so incompetent to let Thanos have every other Infinity Stone?
No, to be fair, it was a really cool moment for me, because how many other movies, like blockbuster AAA movies, actually have consequences for the hero not going for lethal immediately?
Yeah.
You're not
right?
wrong.
Like, it's like
And
there
it's
were
almost
actual
immediate
consequences for Thor not going for the head, which is really not something you expect.
Yep. He learns it. He capitalizes on that lesson in the next movie, though. Or rather, the next movie he shows up in.
Yeah.
But that's a discussion for when we get to Endgame.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that battle scene in Wakanda is pretty fucking great.
Yeah, that entire sequence is amazing. And it actually has some pretty cool funny moments in it too, which
Mm.
I really enjoyed.
I still like. Can we just take a moment of silence for Chadwick Bateman? He
For what
was
now?
Chadwick
Chadwick
Boseman, you mean?
Bateman. Or Boseman.
Chadwick-
Why was I thinking Bateman?
I I don't know.
Yeah,
Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
yeah, because like he was amazing in basically every movie, but he was like really good in this one
Yeah.
because he kind of acted like in a lot of the MCU movies, and this is kind of reflective of the comics as well. He was kind of the heart of the party when uh, Captain America revealed himself to be a flawed and biased human being.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah, I really like T'Challa in this movie as well as basically every appearance in the MCU. Honestly, it's
And
really hard to go wrong with that with Chadwick Boseman.
was
Mm.
uh,
And now we might have to put up with Letitia Wright as the as Black Panther.
and we don't like her very much for
Several reasons that we will not get into.
No, we'll get into it. Anti-vax ways.
Oh yeah, okay. So look, it's sad, but there's like so many reasons to cancel people nowadays that it's very hard to remember who's canceled for what. And it's like I'm not saying don't cancel them. I absolutely agree with that. Just cancel everyone actually. But it's more
I feel
I'm
like
sad
we've been
that there's so many reasons
So-
for it. Like it's not
There
that
are
many.
serious issues with cancel culture as it is.
Mostly that
But-
it doesn't actually affect the people who it should.
Could be affected. Yeah, it almost always just negatively affects the people it shouldn't. Excuse me. The people it shouldn't affect.
Anyway, how about that like Green Man having PTSD, huh?
Oh yeah, good old Hulk. In the
Hulk
movie.
got crushed so thoroughly he didn't show up for another movie.
Yep.
Hulk got crushed so thoroughly that he has never actually shown up again.
Yeah. No, he's just been Professor Hulk since
Because
then.
like they're probably gonna roughly incorporate this if Hulk ever gets his own movie again. If Mark Ruffalo is willing, I don't know if he is.
Oh, I
think-
would not be surprised.
I'm fairly
The
sure
issue-
Mark Ruffalo likes playing Hulk.
No, I think the issue with it was Universal had the distribution rights for the longest time.
And also, the first two were so bad. Like,
Mm.
to be fair, Ang Lee's Hulk was a very interesting experience. That is also very, very interesting in that it is, I think, the only non-Marvel movie that is technically canon to the MCU.
Kinda. It's in broad strokes.
I believe Hulk 2004 is technically canon to the Incredible Hulk 2008, which is canon to the MCU.
Mm.
So I think you can make an argument for saying that Ang Lee's Hulk is canon to the MCU.
Anyways, I did like seeing Banner do stuff outside of being the Hulk in this movie, especially considering how all too often this kind of storyline would focus more on his ability to smash stuff rather than his capabilities as a scientist. So I really like that this movie and Endgame really focused on Banner's brains rather than his bronze overtly, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Also, This is like one of the most interesting examples of uh, actually going into like, because this is some, again, I am the local resident comics guy, right? I probably, of the three of us, have the most outright experience with the comic stuff.
Would not be surprised.
And I believe uh, this is something expounded on in the comics, is whenever Hulk meets someone who is as physically powerful but actually has like some sort of skill involved, it doesn't go well for the Hulk.
No, no, it does not.
It's like his thing is he generally overpowers people. When he can't do that,
He's screwed.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
that's
he
kind of
is
what
a
they.
strength guy over skill.
Meanwhile, Thanos knows his judo well.
Yeah.
Thanos is a skilled martial artist compared to the Hulk, anyways.
Not even compared to the Hulk. Like canonically, he knows he does. I mean, he's like a career soldier, well, career warlord basically, and he does a lot of frontline stuff. So it's like shouldn't be that surprising that he's skilled in that regard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh. So yeah. So after Thanos just curb stomps the entire surviving cast of Ragnarok, uh, we get what is a pretty fun scene. Well, series of scenes with Iron Man suddenly being introduced to the magic side of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That was
that's a
fun.
very interesting. Look, where do you stand on the no shit Sherlock debate?
I kind of wish it was in the movie, but at the same time, I get why they didn't include it.
They didn't look. It would have been extremely stupid if it was in the movie, but that's kind of why I wanted it to be in the movie.
What's the no shit Sherlock debate?
The
There were
idea that there should have been a line in the movie where either Iron Man or Doctor Strange says to the other, "No shit, Sherlock," because they both played Sherlock Holmes at one
Oh.
point.
Okay.
mm,
Would have been really, really stupid. It's very much uh, something Reddit would come up with. I think explicitly this did start on Reddit, but just like it would have been fun. Because it's so stupid. I would have liked to see it.
mm,
But yeah, the whole fight against what the fuck are they called? The Ebony Maw
oh, Ebony Maw, yeah.
is fun, especially when Wong cuts off who's the other one?
Proxima Midnight.
No, not Proxima Midnight.
Proxima Midnight
Pro-
is the only one whose name I remember. They have really these characters originated in the time when people thought those names were cool.
Well, it's either
Yeah, no,
it's either Cull Obsidian or Corvus Glaive. I'm leaning towards
Obsidian.
Obsidian.
Cold Obsidian's the big brutish one.
Yeah, when
Col-
fucking Wong just sends him to the Arctic and then cuts his hand off with a
Portal.
portal
Mhm.
and just goes, Wong, you're invited to my wedding.
Do know how to like look, Wong is low key the best.
Wong is
love
the
Wong.
best. Wong is just so great. And I'm looking forward to seeing the movies where he has more of a role. 'Cause I haven't seen anything from Phase 4 yet.
He's shown up in a couple Phase 4 movies.
Yeah. Because well, he showed up in Shang-Chi, he showed up in Spider-Man, and he showed up in, or he's obviously going to show up in Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We
So
also we
that's kind
also
of
we also get fucking Spider-Man coming in only
New York.
because New York and fucking Ned just seeing it and going, "Oh my God, there are aliens," which distracted people enough to let him get away.
Yeah, that was great.
To be fair, he wasn't lying. There
Yeah,
were
I mean
indeed
that's the
aliens.
thing. That's the thing. Like Spider-Man asks for asks for a distraction, and then Ned does that, and I'm still not 100% sure whether Ned intended that to be a distraction or he just saw aliens and went, "Holy shit, there's fucking aliens!"
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that. I don't think he had any idea what he.
um. So then we get the Guardians of the Galaxy being introduced to the rest of the MCU in the form of Thor.
Yep.
And
Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing.
isn't it nice to just see everyone shitting on Chris Pratt?
Yes.
Yes, just in general, like IRL.
And again, it's probably no wonder he gets so salty about consistently coming last in the best Chris debates, considering the fucking MCU confirmed it.
Star-Lord is the worst of the Chris portrayed characters, yes. Because you got Paragon of Humanity and Morality, Captain America, and you've got literal god Thor.
Not just
To
Thor,
compare them to.
short head missing an eye Thor, which is one of the hottest Thors.
Mm-hmm.
One of?
There's a debate to be made whether having one eye or not made him hotter, or whether they because the eye he got from Rocket wasn't actually the same color as his other eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's also a
Correct.
debate to be made whether heterochromia Thor is hotter.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole debate that we're not going to get into.
Yes, let's not get into it too much. But yeah, the whole Thor and Star-Lord rivalry is hilarious. As is most everything with Rocket in this movie is really funny,
Yeah,
honestly. I also love how Groot is a moody teenager now.
yeah. Groot
But yeah,
continues to be pretty fucking good. And then we get the first of the many fuck ups that leads to the film's climax.
splitting the party.
Splitting the party, but mostly just Gamora's whole deal in this movie.
Yeah, Gamora is hmm. I like parts of how she's written this movie, but I really don't like how they wrote her out.
For those of us who might not necessarily remember what her deal in this movie is, would you care to elaborate?
I can't remember exactly why, because I remember that after I watched Infinity War, I gave the key blame for the clusterfuck that was the ending to three people: Gamora, Strange, and Cap. And after watching Endgame, I can pretty much take Strange out of that. He at least had a plan for his bullshit, but Gamora, I can't remember exactly why I put her in there. I think because she actually, gave the Soul Stone's location to Thanos just to save Nebula
Yes.
from torture. And it's like, half the universe at stake here. One person.
A consistent thing throughout this movie is that characters let their love and or compassion for other characters line them to the bigger goal of stopping Thanos,
Yeah,
and it happens a lot.
Cap is another one because, yeah, we don't trade lives is not the stance to take with half the universe at stake.
Yeah, it's like that
You are
applies
trading
when
lives.
it's like,
You're trading the life of the person you like for half of the universe.
Vision was willing to die to save the universe, and that they did not listen to him.
Yeah, that is real bad plan. Real bad plan.
Like, I do feel like the blame is distributed across everyone who went along with that decision rather than just Cap.
Yeah,
But
yeah, but you know, he was the one pushing for it. Let's be real.
but yeah, no. I do like Cap and crew coming to rescue Wanda and Vision from
Yeah, that was
Thanos'
good.
lackey. So that was a fun fight,
Yeah.
especially Wanda just going 2v1 for a good chunk of that
Mm-hmm.
because she is not a melee specialist.
I mean, Vision this movie got really fucking nerfed. I feel
Well,
like
he
they,
got impaled right at the beginning for good to nerf him.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of the point. They realized he would kind of be too strong otherwise, so they had to nerf him straight off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interestingly enough, uh, Vision in this movie, right? He has a kind of an interesting dynamic because that's very, very distinct from the comics for a very simple reason. In the comics, he had nothing to do with the Infinity Stones.
Mm-hmm. He's basically taking the role of Adam Warlock in this movie. Kind of. Ish.
No, it's more that in the original in the comics, he didn't have he wasn't powered by the Mind Stone or anything.
Yeah, no.
It was just
He had no role in this storyline in the comics, to my knowledge.
not just in the storyline, but he didn't really have any thing to do with Thanos in general, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I think those two were like in kind of distinctly different eras. Of course,
Yeah,
there was crossover at some points, but like for the most part, it's kind of just like, well, they exist, but not necessarily
Vision
at the same
is
time.
Vision is much more closely associated with Ultron in terms of Avengers villains, at least in the comics. But yeah,
Anyway, so we've also got the the one scene that I had seen like pre my MCU binge, which was the Guardians coming across Stark, Parker, and Strange.
that was a fun scene.
That was a really fun scene.
Just all the banter in that. The banter in this movie is actually pretty consistently good.
Yeah, just start going. Okay, you shoot my guy. I'll blast your guy. Just creating a fucking giant fucking cannon pointing at Drax, who just goes, "Do it, Quill. I can take it." No, you can't take it. And also, fucking Starla going, Thor? Yeah, tall guy, not that good looking. And just the look on Spider-Man's face of just, excuse me?
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, obviously started, like, thousands and thousands of headcanons that MCU Spider-Man is by.
I mean, there's nothing that says he's not.
Exactly.
Yep. Not wrong at all.
Frankly, the stance we should take on characters is unless they are specifically said otherwise, they are bi.
More or less, yeah.
Start from that fucking conclusion rather than oh yeah they're obviously going to start off straight. No, fuck off.
It's more entertaining, honestly, to think of everyone as bi in this.
Yeah. But we also get the fight on what the fuck is the planet called?
Titan.
Titan. Where, you know, they give Thanos a pretty fucking good go.
It's one of the best fights in the MCU,
And then,
honestly.
okay, so how do you feel about the
I don't
Peter Quill?
I don't blame him for that.
I
That's
also
that's
don't. It's
that's
like,
100% grief. That's
Mhm.
100% grief. I cannot blame him for that. If he'd done it like, you know, a couple of months after he'd been told, then yeah, maybe you can say, save your revenge until after we've saved the universe. But he is literally just found out.
Yeah.
I cannot blame him for that. I
Speaking of
can
which, we
blame
should
him for
get
a
back.
lot of things, but I can't blame him for that.
I
Speaking of
blame him.
which, we
I
should talk
actively do
about.
blame him for a lot of things.
We should talk about the whole thing with Gamora and Thanos, because that is kind of integral to the plot. So basically, before this movie, all the Infinity Stones except for one had been shown throughout the MCU. The only one that hadn't been was the Soul Stone, and
Mhm.
a big plot point is that Thanos only started moving for the stones once he found out that Gamora knew where the Soul Stone was, and he knew where all the other ones were as well. So basically, he's like,
Do we
"Okay, I
know
need to
how
capture
Gamora?
Gamora."
Does anyone remember how Gamora knew where the Soul Stone was?
Thanos had sent her searching for it, and she found it, but by the time she did, she had basically defected at that point.
Hmm.
So
So
yeah,
yeah. Okay, just as a slight aside, uh, uh like, how many of you did you realize that the mysterious guardian of the Soul Stone was Red Skull?
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I just didn't realize it. I thought it was just some random dude.
I'm fairly
Like,
sure
oh,
I'd been told about that beforehand. I feel
also,
possible.
it
like I
didn't
did.
help that it was not Hugo Weaving.
Yes, that didn't help. Mainly because Hugo Weaving, I'm fairly sure, hated the makeup necessary.
Yeah,
I mean,
which is
yeah,
unfortunate.
to be fair, you really should have realized it going in.
Mm. Anyways, what was it? So yeah, the
Um,
whole Gamora subplot
well,
is
that
interesting
that that
because
whole subplot goes into Thanos' motivation for all of this bullshit,
yes,
which
So I'm
is
gonna be honest
understandable.
with you.
Like
He's okay.
the motivation is understandable, not the lengths he goes to.
Mhm.
No, and like even like the method is completely nonsense.
Hmm.
Like think of it like okay. So it's like this is Thanos' motivations. This may be a hot take. I think his motivations are worse than his comic book motivations. And for those of you who are not yet aware at this point, his comic book motivations are he wants to bone down with death.
Mm-hmm.
As a hot goth lady in the Marvel comics.
Yes.
The reason I say that's less stupid is because it holds up to scrutiny more. Because here's the thing: if you have a gauntlet that makes you an omnipotent, and your worry is finite resources,
Create infinite resources.
yeah, why would you murder trillions of people when you could just make more resources?
Because he's a dumbass and
Yeah.
crazy.
Also,
His nickname is literally the Mad Titan.
yes.
Also, like, I feel like part of it is just spite for his original plan being denied, and him just wanting so badly to prove the validity of his original plan. And rather than consider other options, he's just so focused on proving himself right and proving the people who doubted him wrong. So rather than being like, there was options I didn't consider and I should take those into account, he's like, no, I have to be right. I have to be correct. I have to prove these people were wrong for laughing at me and for doubting my plan. So I feel like there's a bit of narcissism in there. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, not a bit. Absolutely. Like, there's nothing. There's, like, Thanos has no redeeming qualities.
That's not entirely true. He is
In
capable
the.
of.
He's capable of he's not a sociopath, but at the same time, he does just straight up kill his daughter.
Yes.
The stone. So it's like it's not like that. It's not like being capable of compassion changes anything for him.
Ironically enough, him being capable of love is what leads him to do his most monstrous act in the movie. Well, one of them.
Oh
His
yeah,
most
actually,
monstrous
it's
act
funny. You know what's funny? If he was a sociopath, he just wouldn't have been able to get the Soul Stone.
Exactly, which makes it more disturbing. It's kind of ironic, really. Like, if he had been more monstrous than he is, he wouldn't have been able to do what he set out to do.
Yeah. I was gonna like bring up another talking point, but I forgot.
There are other things I want to mention, like a few moments here and there throughout the movie. One of
Go
my
ahead.
favorites is just the run up to Thanos killing Vision. The lead up to that moment is just really well done because it's everyone throwing all they can at Thanos, and none of them can even stall him for more than a moment, except for Cap briefly, and then Wanda fucking holds him off on her own while she's destroying the Mind Stone, which is just fucking insane.
I mean, the point is that but is by that point we are, unless Thanos gets taken out immediately, it's, not to quote him, it's pretty inevitable who's gonna win, because Time Stone really kind of skews the balance in his favor.
Time Stone is
So,
hacked.
to be fair, this would have gone very, very differently if Scarlet Witch had a bit more training time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure, like, canonically, even Scarlet Witch circa WandaVision probably curb stomps Thanos.
Oh no, like that's shown in Endgame.
Yes, because because the thing about Scarlet Witch is just she's a straight up reality warper.
Yeah.
It's funny. This is her origin. Actually, makes her powers make more sense in Infinity War than it does in the comic books. Because have you ever wondered, like, assuming you don't know anything about her powers, have you ever wondered why the Mind Stone would give her like weird red telekinesis powers?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to make sense at first, does it?
Yeah, and then you realize, oh, it's because literally her power is her imagination and will become reality.
So it's literally just unlocking all her limiters.
If anything, the one who doesn't make sense is Quicksilver. Is like, how does the mind translate to super speed?
I don't fucking know, man. What I do know is that Thor coming in just a little bit too late is just
Again, it's like
so
really
fucking
cool.
well executed.
It's really cool that.
Oh, I mean, Thor's fucking just like.
Thor's arrival to the battlefield was fucking awesome.
This is a straight up Goku moment.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna also mention the fact that he took the power of a fucking star.
Yeah, this is a really good movie for Thor in terms of like showcasing his abilities.
Yeah.
Is that Thor is kind of act?
Yeah,
like physically and like in terms of his magical powers.
Like I'd say he and Wanda are probably the two strongest Avengers.
It depends on well, not anymore in the MCU, but there's definitely been Iron Man variants that can curb stomp both of them at the same time.
Yeah, but that's comic book stuff.
But I feel like are we like comfortable just going full spoilers at this point?
I mean, we
Let's
have
not
been this
go
entire time.
Okay. Well, I'll bring it up when we get to it. But yeah, I feel like in the MCU, you could probably... Okay, can we just talk about the fact that Cap has been carried by his shield?
Kinda.
So long? No, because, like, Captain America on his own there's some inconsistencies in this movie
I mean,
regarding Captain America's strength. With the shield in hand, yes, but isn't there a moment where he like pries open Thanos' fingers? He
he
really
doesn't
shouldn't be
pry
able to
them
do
open.
that.
Just he doesn't pry them open. He just keeps them from closing them,
I feel like he shouldn't
and
be
it only
able to
lasts for a
even
few
do
seconds.
that.
I mean, it's only lasts for a few seconds, and he's basically giving it his everything, while Thanos is barely struggling.
That's fair. It's just there's like because like without the shield, he has no right to be anywhere near as strong physically as Thanos.
Yeah, I don't think he is as strong as Thanos. But yeah, what else did we want to talk about this movie before we move on? Oh yes, everyone getting dusted.
Literally.
So who are the big characters who get dusted?
So it's Falcon, Bucky.
Everyone
I think
except the original Avengers. Very
not everyone.
deliberately.
Not everyone. Rhodey, Nebula, and Rocket also survive.
Huh. You can make an argument that Rhodey is kind of an OG.
He is
Nick Fury dies or gets dusted.
Yeah. He gets
He's
caught
pretty
up in the
OG.
middle of an iconic Samuel L. Jackson motherfucker.
It's the only way he could get away with it.
Yeah.
By dying in the middle.
I really wish that they showed him coming back in Endgame just so that they could have him complete the line.
The time that Nick Fury is allowed to say motherfucker is the time that Samuel L. Jackson has decided he can't be bothered appearing in any more MCU films.
Hey, which
Maybe
I
he'll
don't
get
think is
stayed
going to
in then.
happen until he dies.
Probably
Honestly.
not.
Dude, he has
I'm
an
pretty sure
Iron
he's
Fist
like,
contract.
I'm in. I'm like, just keep paying me and just keep like, I'm gonna keep doing it.
He's having a fun time.
They
Yeah,
have to keep paying him even if they don't want to.
Yeah. No, but Samuel L. Jackson is great. But the big thing with his scene, besides him getting dusted, is him signaling Captain Marvel and getting her involved,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about in a bit after we talk about the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Thanos gets to watch a nice sunrise.
Yeah, that's just like a fucking gut punch, along with the whole Thanos will return caption.
Yeah.
It's like, look, they knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing a villain protagonist.
They were traumatizing an entire generation of theatergoers is what they were doing.
Right?
Yeah. So, I think last thing before we move on to the next film, because we have been talking about this for about 50 minutes now.
I mean, I feel like we
Jesus
still
Christ.
haven't even gotten through everything we could get through with Infinity War. I think we're just not we're just
If we're not remembering it yet after 50 minutes, it can't be that important.
That's
I mean,
fair.
the thing with Infinity War is that it's such a big, stacked movie that you could literally spend its entire equivalent to its entire running time discussing it.
I would also
I still
argue
have
that
more
there
to
are
talk
parts
about.
of Infinity War that we can't really discuss properly until Endgame.
Yes,
That is a fair point. Yeah.
like the stuff with
That's
Doctor
something I
Strange,
hadn't
especially.
considered.
Yeah. So the last thing I wanted to bring up is Stormbreaker or Mjolnir.
Ooh, oof, that's a hard one.
I'm going Stormbreaker just because the
I like
the badassery of just the fucking gnarled wood handle.
Mm-hmm. That was
the Groot would handle. Also,
I
that
do
was
have
kind of
another
interesting.
question about this, but I'll save it for Endgame because it's related to that too.
You know what's funny though? A lot of people were understandably upset about the new weapon being Stormbreaker.
Because
Reason
Beta Ray Bill.
being, because Beta Ray Bill, yes. For those of you who are unaware, Beta Ray Bill is just some random alien dude who, as it turns out, is worthy of Mjolnir, and just was Thor for a while. Looks like Jar Jar Binks. He's a dude who looks like Jar Jar Binks, who is somehow worthy of the Hammer Mjolnir, and just like took over his Thor for a while until they made him his own hammer, called Stormbreaker. It's wild. I
Well,
feel like. Hmm?
well, I was just gonna move on from that.
Yes.
Move
Okay.
on to the next movie
on.
because up next is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
This one's a weird one to discuss. I do feel like it gets a lot of unjustified hate, but at the same time, like,
I mean, it gets hate because it was the first MCU movie after Infinity War, and it answered none of the questions that Infinity War posed.
And it also, it's like the chronology is a little messed up because it's kind of concurrent to Infinity War, right?
Yeah,
Like, isn't the snap right at the end
yeah, right at the
of
end.
Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Yeah,
Wasp?
yeah,
Wasp?
it's post-credit
Wasp.
scene.
to be fair, like I'm not sure if there's ever actually like a time frame given between the actual events of the movie and the mid credit scene where uh, you know everyone gets dusted. I'm not sure if there is actually ever a time frame because it could just be that this all happened like weeks before the or like a couple of weeks before Infinity War happens because
I
Infinity
think
War
that's what-
happens over the case of like what 3-4 days.
Something like that.
Okay, whatever the case may be, I feel like we can agree that the fact that it is chronologically either close during or before Infinity War is probably not a good idea in terms of release dates. I understand why they did it,
Mm.
but like it's a ironically enough, it's the only way they could have done it while having the plot make sense because like I don't think they could have made it believable any other way.
Mhm.
Right?
Mm. I mean, I feel it would have been an interesting choice if they had put this before Infinity Wars and still had that mid-credit scene where the three of them just get dusted.
Yeah, but it would have been too much of a spoiler, I think.
That's probably why they had this released afterwards. And to
Yeah,
be fair, this is only 2 months after.
it's true, but yeah, it would have been a major spoiler, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, back into the actual contents of the movie, though. This one's a lot more fun in terms of just like lightheartedness than Infinity War is, because Infinity War is a much darker, more. It's a much darker movie, even if it does have a lot of comedy in it.
Well, yeah, because I mean, Ant-Man in general is just a very comedy-based character.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of his whole deal.
Helped by the fact that he's played by the immortal Paul Rudd. And I do mean immortal.
Just not age.
Yeah.
Man does not age
Looked
at
the
all.
same for the past 30 years.
you look at him when he started in Friends, and you look at him now, and there is no change.
Mm-hmm. Wait, he was in Friends?
Yeah, wasn't he?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Probably. Well, I feel like everyone was on Friends at some point.
It might have been a cameo.
Actually, more appropriately,
Yeah, he was Phoebe's fucking boyfriend / husband. I thought I was right about that.
That was Paul Rudd?
Yeah.
God.
I thought I was going crazy for a second.
Yeah, he was kind of like a major recurring character.
Yeah. Jesus. Okay. Oh, I'm glad. Genuinely thought I was going mad. I mean,
He's
this
officially the Friends cast member that's aged best.
yeah. I mean, this movie has a pretty fucking stacked cast.
It does. It's honestly kind of impressive.
So I have a confession to make.
Yeah.
I spend most of my life confusing Michael Douglas and Patrick Swayze, and as a result, whenever I see Michael Douglas in a movie, I'm surprised he's alive.
I don't know if that's funnier or sadder.
Because, like, look, they look similar if you have really bad eyes and don't have your glasses on.
I mean, if we're going to talk about mistaking actors, we should talk about the fact that I'm fairly sure I've mentioned this before. Considering he stars in this film, as a kid, I would always confuse Lawrence Fishburne and Samuel L. Jackson.
I mean,
When they were young, yes.
Yeah, no, when
Pretty
they were
young to be
when
able
they were
to
young,
tell.
like you look at the de-aged Samuel L. Jackson in Captain Marvel, and suddenly I understood why I made that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Significantly different as they aged, because
Oh yeah,
Samuel L. Jackson
absolutely.
is also immortal.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But
I
anyway,
think the difference is that Lawrence Fishburne got heavier as he aged, and Jackson
yeah.
didn't.
If anything, he
Jackson
got
stayed
skinnier.
fairly lean. Yeah.
No, like he was kind of like off in his youth, and now he's kind of like, yeah, at least has the physique of an older gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yeah, quite nice to see Lawrence Fishburne turn up because I do like Lawrence Fishburne.
He's a fun actor. I like him a lot.
I always enjoy getting to see him when he appears.
Once again, though, isn't this a case of, well, he's in this movie and he's never going to show up in the MCU ever again?
Doesn't he die?
No, he does
Yeah.
not.
Does he not
He
die?
doesn't. No,
All right, fair enough.
no one dies in this movie.
Oh wow.
At least I don't think anyone dies. Let me look, because I don't think anyone dies in this particular movie. At least no one of import. But I could be wrong.
Well, here's the thing. Looking at the summary from Wikipedia, apparently the whole point of the mid-credit scene was so that they could harvest quantum energy to help Ava stabilize. That didn't happen, so she's probably now either dead or a ghost.
She was kind of
She might
already
have
a
gotten
ghost.
snapped. She might have gotten snapped though.
She might have gotten snapped.
So yeah, the only people who die in this movie are characters in a flashback and the people who get snapped at the end.
Hmm.
In the present time, nobody dies.
There is hope for Lawrence Fishburne to be in
Yeah.
more MCU stuff.
He'll probably be more
I
in
don't-
Ant-Man films.
Yeah, he is probably going to be. Anyways, we should probably talk about the movie's plot, as it were. And speaking of Ava, I feel like she's one of the better MCU villains just by virtue of having actual complexity and a sympathetic motivation. You know?
Yeah, I mean, her. What was her motivation? I don't remember a lot from this movie, to be frank.
Neither do I.
Her motivation is to stabilize her unstable quantum state, which puts her in constant pain.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's pretty understandable. That's pretty understandable.
It does bring up the eternal question of, does suffering give you the excuse to inflict it upon others? Which, you know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people would argue no. I'm kind of tempted to agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's a whole thing.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is a whole
So-
discussion.
So the only people who are confirmed for Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 are Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, Catherine Newton, and Jonathan Majors. Oh, and Bill Murray.
Oh,
Sorry, Bill
speaking
Murray's
of
in it?
Bill Murray.
Yep.
Is...
Yep. As a villain, it looks like.
Oh, cool. But speaking of people who should really be cancelled, Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah, I was
Ah,
gonna
fuck,
ask.
what'd she do again?
Oh, she's another one of the COVID skeptics,
Oh
God,
god!
fucking damn it.
and
They're just
Anti-vaxxers.
crawling out of the woodwork.
Most recently, she told Justin Trudeau to meet with the angry Canadians in inverted commas, because how many were actually Canadian?
I don't fucking know, but probably not many of them.
What, at the convoy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A shameful number of them were actually Canadian, sadly.
I'm not saying like the entire
Lovely.
thing was non-Canadians, but like there were a lot more people there that weren't Canadian that just took the chance to be there.
Yes.
But yes, that is beside the point. But yes, she's quite bad. She's not great.
Yeah. That's always fun. Anyways, um, hmm.
Walter Goggins is in this film, which is quite a nice surprise. Quite
Yeah.
like him. He's the guy who played the whatchamacallit, like mob guy, um, who like tied up Luis and the others.
Oh yeah, that whole bit was pretty funny actually.
Yeah. Um,
I do really like Luis's little ramblings. I especially love how it led into the Stan Lee cameo in this movie.
Luis is kind of an amazing character, and we don't deserve him.
Mm. Yeah,
and
he's
it
great.
was quite fun the way they managed to get in his like rambling stories this time.
Hmm. They worked them in really well to the plot of this one.
Yeah, because they could have just had him do it, but no, they actually gave a proper reason, which was quite nice.
Hmm.
I mean, like, that's the thing about Marvel, is that they're really good about that, like, the subtle quality of life stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Like the comedy is also usually pretty good in these movies. And honestly, like Scott Lang is always fun. Paul Rudd is always funny.
Paul Rudd is
Probably
always
the
great.
It's really hard to.
best decision that the MCU has made is to have the Scott Lang Ant-Man as opposed to
Yes.
the Hank Pym Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if it's the best decision, but it's up there for sure. Scott Lang works really well with the MCU. Much more so than Hank Pym would.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen good depictions of Hank Pym, but this, I don't think he would really vibe well in this kind of setting.
It's also mainly because any good depiction of Hank Pym is generally a depiction that tries to make him more like Scott Lang in the comics. I'll be right back.
I think the character is improved by having the the old Ant-Man and Hank Pym just there, just like face palming anytime Paul Rudd does something Paul Ruddish.
It is funny.
But honestly, how much more do we have to say about Ant-Man and the Wasp? It was a
I
decent.
mean,
It's a decent enough movie. It's like not spectacular, but it's
some
enjoyable
creative
enough.
stuff in here.
It's an enjoyable enough movie on its own. The issue is just that it does come right after Infinity War.
Yeah, that's like really. It's like the whiplash is too much.
Mm.
Like
I
honestly, I understand why. There was no other place to time it.
Yeah,
The only thing I could have thought of is like there's really no other way of doing it unless you did not reveal anyone being dusted and just had it end on the note of Scott Lang is stuck in the quantum realm and has no idea why.
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Is the only way you could justify it.
they could have started Endgame with the mid-credit scene. To be fair,
But I
Yeah,
like the
but
way
then
they started Endgame.
okay, maybe not started Endgame with it, but started Lang's bit of it with that.
That movie was already 3 hours long, though.
That fucking scene was at most 2 minutes, dude. Come on.
I guess.
I'm not asking for a full 20-minute scene here.
Fair enough.
I mean,
Yeah,
the other thing you could do is just swap this and Captain Marvel.
Well, yeah, I suppose you could, couldn't you?
I mean, Captain Marvel was already gonna get hate because of, you know, the dicks. So,
Mm-hmm.
I wish we
Yeah,
didn't have to account for them as much as we do.
mm,
Yeah, I will say, like, I do appreciate the overall trend of Phase 3 villains being a lot more complex and interesting than the Phase 2 and Phase 1 villains. Because most of them were just, most of the villains in the first couple phases were not good.
yeah.
Whereas we've gotten some pretty consistently interesting and complex ones across the board in Phase 3. It's still hard to top Thanos, though.
I mean, Thanos is not fair to include, really, is he?
He's not.
Considering
But when you,
he's basically the fucking arc villain. He's not a movie villain. He's an arc villain.
True, but you also get characters like Hela, Killmonger, Vulture, Ego, and so on.
Yeah.
Villains have never been the problem for the MCU.
No, they were the problem in the first couple of phases. They were definitely a lot
Okay,
more.
they've not been the problem recently.
They've not been the problem recently, no. Like, maybe in one or two movies here and there, but overall, they have not been a consistent problem for a while. Yeah.
But we should probably move on because yeah, there's not a massive amount more to say about Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's a decent enough standalone film.
Yeah. I mean, the best things to say about it are it can get pretty creative and wild at times, and the effects and acting and comedy are all pretty good across the board.
Yeah. No, I mean the comedy as you would expect from an Ant-Man film is good. Oh, always nice to see Jimmy Woo again, even if he does remind me of the fact that he cameoed on a House episode where he tried to circumcise himself.
Oh God. Oh
Yeah.
I
God.
remember that episode. That was a nightmare.
I only realised when I was rewatching House, I went, wait a minute, I do recognise him. Looked it up. It's Randall Park! Oh my god, it's Jimmy Woo.
Love Randall Park. He's a great actor. Like the cast overall throughout this movie is really good.
So yeah, so moving on then to Captain Marvel.
The one that is unreasonably controversial.
Yeah, because Brie Larson told the fuckboys to fuck off.
As rightly so.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, people are too hard on Captain Marvel.
They really are.
It's not a bad movie.
It's not spectacular in any way, but it's like again, it's a very good movie for where it is in the MCU. It's enjoyable.
I think it's about average in terms of MCU quality.
I mean, again, you know, it helps that we've got Samuel L. Jackson there, Ben Mendelsohn, just hamming it
Isn't
up at
Clark
times.
Gregg also in it? Like, isn't Coulson also in this?
Yeah, he gets to
Briefly.
show up as well. Yeah.
It's mostly cameo.
I missed Coulson.
Yeah.
I haven't watched like the second half of Agents of Shield, but
It really went pretty hard downhill.
yikes. Okay, well, I'm glad I stepped out when I did then. Yeah, it was nice seeing Coulson, and the digital de-aging effects they used for Samuel L. Jackson were really good.
Yeah.
Like, I was impressed.
No, it's as I said, when I saw him, I suddenly realized why I confused him with Lawrence Fishburne as a kid. It's like, that's why. That makes sense now.
I mean, yeah, the big difference between them is that Samuel L. Jackson is now bald and a lot slimmer than Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne is bald, I think.
No, Fishburne has a full head of hair.
Does he?
It depends on his role. Sometimes he goes bald. Sometimes he has a full head of hair.
I mean, yeah, his Wikipedia picture has him bald, though he does have a.
Samuel L. Jackson is consistently bald unless he has a wig.
Yeah. I'm fairly sure Samuel L. Jackson is just bald.
I don't think he's had hair since Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
At least in a role that I can think of.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, back to the actual plot, or what to talk about with this movie. Uh, I honestly, I'm kind of surprised how they did the scrolls in this movie. Like in the comics, the scrolls are consistently like an evil empire and stuff, but they made them sympathetic refugees in this, and I think that's an interesting change of pace.
Ironically, they swapped the roles of the Kree and the Skrull.
I thought the Kree were always imperialistic assholes.
They were, but they usually, for example, Ronan is a sometimes ally to the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Kree were more of a gray area, whereas the Skrull were just kind of space Nazis.
I mean, I think surely the decision was made once they painted Ronan as the antagonist in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. It made the decision to make the Kree imperialistic, racist assholes a lot easier.
Yeah. Also, just as an aside, fucking Samuel L. Jackson is Frozone in The Incredibles.
Yeah, you really sometimes forget that, don't you?
I mean, it explains why he's been fucking memed so much. I mean, I haven't watched Incredibles in so fucking long is the thing.
Yeah.
So I probably why I don't remember. Anyway, and yeah, it is an interesting enough movie. I do like Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I do keep mixing up Jude Law and Peter Serafinovich though, as Yonrog.
Yeah. Jude Law.
Forget Jude Law's in that movie sometimes.
Yeah, Jude Law as the antagonist is actually pretty fun. I do like the bit towards the end where he challenges Captain Marvel to a basically a boxing match, and she just straight up fucking blasts him into a rock formation.
Yeah.
That was fucking great.
Fair fights ain't a fucking thing, motherfucker. Also, quite interesting introducing the Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah, so I'm very curious as to where they're going to take that, if they're going to take that anywhere at all.
No idea.
I mean, they've sort of taken out, like, certainly our main connection with the Kree, considering Ronan just got murked in Guardians.
Yeah. And it's kind of just like, the Supreme Intelligence in general is one of those characters that, I don't know, it's interesting. Let's just leave it at that.
I mean, I'm fairly sure Yonrog didn't actually die.
No, he didn't. He just got injured.
So, he could still be a thing. Who shows up, especially considering there is a Captain Marvel sequel.
Oh yes, and that one's gonna have both Spectrum and Ms. Marvel in that, so that's gonna be fun. But we'll talk about that when that comes out in like a year or so.
Oh yeah, that's we finally find out how fucking Nick Fury lost his eye.
Oh my god,
Oh
yes.
yes, and like I love the fact that it does.
The last
like,
time I trusted someone, I lost this eye. You trusted a fucking cat.
To be fair, it was a
and it's
space cat.
exact.
It's just funny. The last time Nick Fury trusted someone, it was a fucking space cat. And he stopped trusting people because it acted like a fucking cat.
Yep. So great. I mean, he might have just phrased it that way to Cap just to make it sound badass, but I like to think that he genuinely meant it.
No, he absolutely 100% meant it. I refuse to believe otherwise.
It's either he 100% meant it, or he has just spent the last 20 years lying to people like, no, I lost this in the Kree and Skrull attacks. Yeah, that's definitely how it happened. I lost it to a particularly ferocious Kree who betrayed me. Just shifty eyes.
That is also something he would do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that just so fucking funny to me. We also get introduced to Maria and Monica Rambeau, who obviously, certainly Monica becomes a big part in Phase 4.
Yeah.
Is she?
Yep.
Yeah.
She's in WandaVision.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. I forget their names.
Come on, Fuzzy.
Look, I don't do names unless they're like in what's his face.
It's alright, take your time.
Nick Fury. I didn't even remember Nick Fury's name. How do you expect me to remember Monica Rambeau?
We also get the return of Korath, the Kree guy who just fucking no-sold Star-Lord.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's not that hard.
I will say, like, overall, Korath and Ronan being in this movie, but dying in Guardians, is one of the many reasons why I'm really annoyed by the trend of comic book movie villains dying in movies.
It's because, like, that's the problem when you have a character that's like,
Like,
it's played by an actor who is like
who costs
a
money.
big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they didn't kill Vulture off, and they just managed to write him out anyways. It's not that hard. You don't have
No,
to kill
but,
the character to get to write them out.
The thing is, though, the reason they were able to do that is because Vulture's like
Vulture is
a dude.
admittedly, like, in terms of danger levels, is significantly
Yeah.
lower than the likes
like
of,
a dude
Ronan
with
the
wings.
Accuser.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
he's a
fair, I
dude
guess.
with fake wings.
We got a
Whereas Ronan-
dude with fake wings who's just, like, scamming the city. And then we've got Ronan who's tried to take over half the universe.
Okay, I get killing off characters like Hela and Ronan and such, but, like, I kind of wish that they didn't kill off almost every single villain.
Okay, which ones do you not wish they'd killed off? Or do you wish they had not killed off?
Okay, hold on, this is gonna take a second. So, okay, Killmonger for one. Killmonger, definitely. I wish they
Killmonger
hadn't
probably could have survived, but I think it was in character for him to have died. But at the same time, we're still not sure if he's actually dead or not. I still say
think
he
he
can
is.
come
Into
back.
an exploding arc reactor. I'm pretty sure he was just a dude, and the
No, that's
suit
not
wasn't
Killmonger,
even like
that's
Killmonger is fucking Black Panther villain.
Ironmonger, right?
You
Ironmonger.
were thinking Ironmonger.
Look, they both have the word monger in the name.
Okay, I'll give you that, but still, there's a pretty big difference between them.
Yes.
No, but like,
But Killmonger definitely is the biggest one.
I'm still saying
I'm
that
pretty
he
sure they're
could
gonna
still be
have
alive.
to. If Michael B. Jordan is willing, they're gonna have to bring him back.
Hmm.
'Cause how else are they gonna do Black Panther?
I mean, with the multiverse shenaniganry, it would not be hard to find another version of Killmonger.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going with the multiverse shenaniganry, it wouldn't be hard to find another version of T'Challa who looks different
Mm.
because he's played by someone.
I'm pretty sure they
you
said they
kept-
won't recast T'Challa.
Yeah, I think that's
They-
the issue. Is they don't want to recast T'Challa
I mean,
because
to be
it would
fair,
be what kind of shitty.
To be fair, Chadwick Boseman deserves that much at least.
Yeah, I that's the other thing. I would be very sad for the person who would have to step into Chadwick Boseman's shoes in that role because he really made T'Challa his own.
Yeah.
Anyway, other villains, Jack.
Killmonger's the big one. I also think that it would have been interesting to see what would happen if Mysterio survived.
Yeah,
Did he die?
I think
He
did.
died, yeah.
Oh right, he got shot.
Yeah, he got shot by his own
Himself.
drone. Yeah. Most of the other villains who died, I actually don't have a problem with them dying, just because they're kind of like, eh.
Mm.
Mostly Phase 1 and Phase 2 villains.
Yeah.
And the Phase 3 villains that did die, either it made sense for them to die, or they weren't particularly interesting. Like the one from Doctor Strange, who was played by Mads Mikkelsen, which was an utter waste of Mads Mikkelsen, by the
Yeah,
way.
no.
In hindsight, yes, it was quite a
Yes,
waste.
my problem with him is that as you said, it's a waste of Mads Mikkelsen. Could have done so much more with. Mads
Yeah,
Mikkelsen.
I mean that's the thing. It's less that the villains themselves have been wasted, more that the actors have been wasted.
Yes. I think, like, Hela, for instance, a fantastic use of Kate Blanchett. I wish there was more of her in the movie, but she was used well when she was used.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would not cast her as any other villain because Kate Blanchett just rocks the hell look.
Yes, I see what you did there.
But yeah,
Don't like it, but I see what you did there.
But yeah, Captain Marvel doesn't really kill off any of the villains either, except for I think one of the Kree assholes bites it. What was it? The one played by
Minerva.
Nerva, yeah. Funny enough, Gemma Chan comes back in Phase 4 as one of the Eternals.
Huh.
So that's fun.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. If they're good enough actors and in minor enough roles, then they can come back.
Mm-hmm. Mahershala Ali was in one of the Netflix shows, and he's Blade now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, the Netflix shows are not canon anymore, I believe.
No, they're canon.
Are they? Like
Daredevil has a
90%
cameo in the new Spider-Man movie.
They're not.
That-
They're canon, but people very rarely talk about them.
Hmm.
In universe,
Yeah,
talk about them. I mean,
At the very least, Daredevil and Kingpin have shown up again in Phase 4.
But are they the same Daredevil or Kingpin, or are they the...
They're played by the same actors and everything.
I know they're played by the same actors, but you know what I mean. Like, is it technically the same universe? Or is there just some multiverse shenanigans going on?
The same universe, and there's nothing to contradict the idea that they were in the those shows previously. But we're tangenting a bit.
but yes, Captain Marvel, pretty good film.
I do like all the Super Saiyan shenaniganry that goes on towards the climax. Partially because it feels pretty unique for an MCU movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good establishing film for Carol Danvers.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say Carol Baskins, and that would have been a very different show.
Oh boy.
I personally have not watched any of Tiger King, so
Or better off.
I'm surprised you even know who Carol Baskins is if you've never watched Tiger King.
she
It's
was
hard not to.
She was somebody who she did a question on one of the big fat quiz of the years. The one where Tiger King.
So
came
she's
out.
been memed to hell and back.
I mean, yeah, of course she has. That's again. That's
what
also
Tiger
how
King-
I know her.
That's what Tiger King does to people.
Yeah. But anyway, we should move on then to the big one:
The Big Kahuna.
Avengers Endgame.
Oh boy.
the 181-minute extravaganza. And the movie that
This
I actually... Every other movie I just watched at my computer. This movie I went out of my way to put on my family's big TV with the lights off.
Yeah, no, this I think this is the MCU movie I watched the most in theaters. I watched it like 4 or 5 times in theaters. It's really good,
Hmm.
and it's it's got a nice bit of finality to it
Yeah.
that most
The,
other films don't have in the
ironically
franchise.
enough, that works against it in the specific case of what's it called?
The larger franchise.
Yes, in Phase 4. Because it
Yeah,
has that element of finality, and as a result, a lot of the Phase 4 movies do feel like they're kind of starting
Spinning
over from the beginning.
Mm,
And
yeah,
as everyone knows, beginnings are the hardest part.
beginnings and endings are the hardest part of a narrative to nail.
Hmm.
The middle is a lot easier to handle because you already have everything established and you don't have to immediately get to the end. But yeah,
So,
Endgame is just an insane movie.
yeah. So I mean, in the opening few minutes, Thanos fucking dies.
Yeah, Thor went for the head this time.
Yep.
He dies,
The
and
script,
then suddenly, 5 years later, that's like amazing. I love that they just smash cut to 5 years later.
Yeah.
the best thing about this is that it shows that the events of Infinity War have consequences rather than just like them immediately undoing what
Mm.
happened in Infinity War.
Yeah, that's actually something interesting. That's actually, ironically enough, different from
The comics.
most comic stuff. Because
Yeah.
yeah, not only does it have consequences, those consequences are lasting.
Mm-hmm. Like
Which is
everyone
really
who got snapped, they're gone for 5 years. They're not getting those 5 years back.
Yeah.
it's also a very good use of a time skip.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Also, just because it's so jarring and so shocking.
I mean, the other thing about this movie is how actually funny this movie is.
It like really has no right to be as funny as it is.
Yeah. It really doesn't. I mean, just from the word fucking go, like, Tony Stark and Nebula playing paper football
Yeah.
while in deep
Well, no,
space.
the opening scene is actually a really heartbreaking scene of Hawkeye losing his entire family.
Yeah.
And then we smash cut to uh, Nebula and Tony playing paper football.
Hmm.
Drifting in space. Just the two
To
of
be
them.
fair, it is kind of messed up because they are starving to death at the
Yeah.
time. If they're playing paper football, so it's kind of a coping thing.
And then Deus Ex Carol comes in and saves them.
Hmm.
How do you all feel about like Captain Marvel in relation to the rest of the MCU?
I don't. Hmm. I feel like
Because
she's not really. She hasn't been utilized too well outside of her own movie. It's kind of
yeah,
hard to utilize her because, unlike, say, Thor or Wanda, she doesn't have clear weaknesses while still being very powerful.
well, to be fair, Thor and Wanda don't have clear weaknesses either. It's more well, they don't have
Wanda
clear
is squishy
physical.
as hell.
I
Wanda is squishy and
depends on the thing, but like Thor at least does not really have clear weaknesses outside of the whole.
I mean, the point of Captain Marvel is that she's just not always there. That's why she can't solve literally every problem they have.
I
It
just
can't be
feel
everywhere.
like so. Yeah, so her reason for that being that it's she's there for everyone else while they're there for Earth. That I can understand that on a technical level to a certain extent. But the reason it doesn't feel as good because it's a telling and not showing problem.
I mean, it's a Superman problem.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, in universe, the reason for not being there all the time is that she's, like, saving other planets other than the Earth.
Yes.
The reason that doesn't feel as good is because we're told that. We're never actually shown her going from across the galaxy saving people.
Mm.
That's what I mean. It's not
That's
a power
fair.
level issue. It's just like the excuse they give doesn't is not something we ever see. It's just something we're told.
In fairness, we haven't seen it yet because Captain Marvel's had
That's
one movie
true.
set 20 years ago.
That is true. But the point stands because Endgame did. Actually, it's because it was set 20 years ago that it's a bit more jarring in that respect.
Yeah, I mean,
From a real life perspective, I totally understand why.
mm,
You get where I'm coming from, right? Like from an in-universe perspective.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do get it. We don't, we the audience haven't actually seen her doing it, so it seems just like just seems
Hand wave.
Yeah, a hand wave to go.
Certain
Yeah,
extent.
this is why.
Also, because they didn't want her to be in on the time heist. Which we need to talk about that at some point. But let's
Oh
talk
yeah,
about
we did. That's kind of
let's
the
talk
whole.
about let's talk about Act 1 first.
Yeah.
Because like the first
freaking
act of
time
the movie is
heist.
the first act of the movie is mostly pretty somber with a few jokes here and there.
To be fair, the first act of the movie is a heist. Right?
No,
like
that's
this.
the time heist is Act 2. Time heist is
that's
Act 2 of the movie.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, I mean, what we have to talk about first is the fact that Doctor Strange literally put the universe's hopes on a single rat pressing a button.
Oh my god, you're right.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. Well, no, because like the major decision was apparently up to Iron Man. So you could make an argument that there were many universes, statistically speaking, in which the rat did press that button.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no. I feel like if the big decision is down to Iron Man, then there is only like two universes where the rat has pressed the button. One where Iron Man goes through with the snap, and the other one where he doesn't.
That's fair. Okay, I can see why you'd approach it from that angle as well.
But yeah, so Ant-Man comes back having spent 5 hours in the quantum realm and suddenly realizes, holy shit, it's been 5 years.
Yep.
It's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Sucks for him, though.
Yeah,
he did kind of.
It turns out he figured out the secret of time travel by doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least
Well,
he
he
helped.
didn't really He figured out that time travel was possible. Tony Stark is the one who figured out the secret of time travel.
Professor
You know,
Hulk
the-
did
the
his
me-
bit by, turning Scott into, what was it? An old man, a baby, what were the other
teenager.
ones?
It was just old man, baby, teenager.
Ah, okay. Old man, baby, teenager. Again, another hilarious scene, just Stark just rolls up in his expensive car and just goes, turned into a baby, didn't he?
Among other things, yes.
Also Hulk just going, it's Scott as a baby. He'll grow. Not the point.
I see this as an absolute win. Can we just talk real quick about the whole Professor Hulk thing? Because that's so fun.
Yeah, no, I feel like if anything's gonna keep Mark Ruffalo or gonna get Mark Ruffalo to keep coming back, it's the ability to play Professor Hulk.
I like the fact that I really like the fact that the way Professor Hulk reacts to seeing regular Hulk has extreme looking back on your Chuny days.
Yeah, it's just so
Energy.
so
So
fucking
great.
cringy. Also, his attempts to act like past Hulk.
Yes. Grr. Hard.
Just fucking just slams a hand down on a car just very lightly. Also the first time we see Professor Hulk, just Scott goes, "I'm so confused. These are confusing times," as he's just eating a giant platter of scrambled eggs.
I think he's making himself like a big ass breakfast burrito or something.
Yeah. Oh god, I just love Mark Ruffalo as in any of his roles in the MCU. Like as both Hulk, Banner, and Professor Hulk. He's just always great. Also, just the subtle, reinforcing that if you've got multiple personalities and you've got one of them has a doctorate, the other one doesn't have a doctorate.
Yeah.
You know, with
To be fair,
the whole
though,
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing.
Technically speaking, well, actually, it depends on how they decide to handle it in the MCU. But at least as far as the comics are concerned, Professor Hulk is also a separate personality.
Mm. Well, then he needs to get his doctorates back.
Yes.
Yes, the general point stands.
Oh yeah, what he fucking says before the experimenting on time travel with Scott thing of, oh, we don't want to strand you in the 1950s. You were joking about that, right? I have no idea. We're talking about time travel here. It's either all a joke or none of it is. We're good.
I do love the I don't know about love, but I love the explanation of the mechanics of time travel just because of how funny it is. Like it's like this movie, right? No. This movie? No. This movie? No.
Yeah.
So okay,
Back to the Future is a bunch of bullshit.
I didn't like that part because they were way too they were getting cocky there.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, time travel is not only not internally consistent, it's also not that unique in this game. In this movie.
Yeah. Changing the past doesn't change the future. Well, that's what I heard. By who? Who told you that? And then all these different movies.
Yeah. Also, Fat Thor. Like there is an element of yeah, some of the fat shaming about him was not great, but some of the other bits of comedy around him were just genuinely superb.
Fortnite.
The fucking Fortnite scene. Fucking Noob Master. Oh, and the return of Korg and Meek.
Yes. Love Korg and Meek.
But when you have Taika Waititi in your movie, you're gonna use as much of him as you can.
Yeah. Like, what else was there about Fat Thor? Oh, his rambling about the which fucking stone was it? They all sort of blur together.
think that might have been in the series proper as well.
Mm.
Oh, Reality Stone. That's it. The Reality Stone. Just like his rambling
Hey,
about it.
that was fun. That was a fun bit. I do feel also like I feel like there is some good stuff with him and with Thor and him coping with his grief, even if
Yeah.
it sometimes is played for comedy. But like there some of the jokes around him, the jokes around him are hit or miss when he's Fat Thor.
Mm.
Some of them are genuinely funny. Others feel kind of mean.
Yeah. As I said, the ones actually like the ones that are actually focused on his weight are the really bad ones. The ones where just him acting, out of character are probably the funny ones.
Hmm. Like him threatening to rip the kid's arm off over the call on Fortnite,
Yeah.
basically.
Now, to be fair, that's perfectly in character.
Hmm.
Thor would absolutely rip someone's arm off over Fortnite.
Mm-hmm. Um. So yeah. So I think we can now move on to the onto the time heist itself.
The time heist is a really fun concept, and I'm glad that they split the characters off into teams to pull it off.
Yeah.
Though they really should have reconsidered the teaming for the Power Stone in hindsight.
Yeah.
Which one's the Power Stone?
Was Rhodey and Nebula.
Oh yeah, that one.
I mean, Nebula was the only one who Nebula and Rocket were the only ones who knew where to get it, and Nebula and Rocket was kind of necessary for the Reality Stone one
They got the stone. Why did that one need to be changed?
because Thanos.
That's what led to
Oh yeah, that's
final
right.
confrontation. Like, if that hadn't happened,
in fairness, they didn't know that was gonna happen.
They didn't know that was possible.
I feel like the only one who could have called that was Nebula herself.
And even then, she had no way of knowing that
Yeah.
that precise scenario was going to happen.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, I mean, most of them go off without a hitch, for the most part.
Would you really define what happens with the Space Stone without a hitch?
I said
Look.
most of them.
if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't have gotten Owen Wilson in the MCU. So I consider.
I consider that an absolute win.
Fair.
He actually worked it into the.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to do
I
it
would-
well when Owen Wilson gets mentioned.
Yeah, I would also argue that it gave us a really nice scene with Tony and his dad,
Yeah.
and B, I would say it does foreshadow Cap's decision in the end.
Yeah. It does.
Cap's decision, in which they decide to throw out everything they talked about in time travel, regarding time travel.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll get to that when we get to the ends.
That's a big old thing, but yes, we will discuss that later because we've still got what good third of the movie to get through.
Half, honestly, because we only discussed part of the time heist.
Oh yeah.
So-
The Reality Stone
Thor
was
and Rocket.
was good. That was a good one.
Yeah. Especially Thor's discussion with his mom.
Yeah.
I felt she was really underutilized in the previous Thor movies, so I am really glad that they had her in for this bit. It felt really apt.
Yeah. And the fact that he just stole Mjolnir from his old counterpart is hilarious because you can just imagining just like Thor just sat there with Mjolnir there and just goes flying out of the way just like What the fuck just happened?
Yes. Yeah. So that's that. Power Stone one goes
So
mostly well until
what's
Nebula
funny
gets.
is that I just want to say one thing. Um, the existence of that moment just shows how much better Thor and the Dark World would have been if they'd actually had like competent writing
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
directing, right?
Thor: The
Because
Dark World
like
was just.
potential was there
yeah.
on so many levels, but then the writing was just.
I think I have a feeling they have now realized that
No, they've realized it the moment they decided to get Taika Waititi
Taika
for.
Waititi is the director, and then the writing crew they got, because it's mostly changed
Hmm.
from from Thor: The Dark World. There's only in terms of the main screenwriters there is only one holdover.
I mean, it should tell you a lot that there was more than two screenwriters for Thor: The Dark World.
Well, there was three. There was three for that, and then there's three for Ragnarok as well.
Huh. Interesting.
I mean, there's fucking six for Spider-Man: Homecoming,
Weird.
and five for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Though one of them was Paul Rudd, who I assume his contributing factor was just throwing in jokes.
I have no doubt about that.
Like I imagine he was just. I imagine he wasn't even part of the writing process. It's just that he kept improvising jokes. And enough of them got in that they kind of had to give him a screenwriting credit. But that's beside the point. Yes, they did clearly realize that they went wrong with the Dark World, and they've
Hmm.
corrected it now, which is good. Um, the whole Soul Stone thing kind of went shittily for the group.
Oh yeah. So this is where I'm going to talk about my one of my issues with Infinity War as well. I really do not feel comfortable with them having Gamora and then Natasha killed off for the Soul Stone.
Yeah, having two of the
It
main
feels
female
way too close
characters.
to fridging.
Yeah, having two of the main female characters in the
To be
MCU
fair,
die
Gamora
one
came
after
back.
another. Gamora does come back, yes.
Yeah, but it's not the same Gamora.
It's the same actor, and that's like basically the best you can hope for.
I guess. I just it's just rubbed me the wrong way
No, I
that
can I can
they
definitely get that, and like
I honestly like as much as I enjoy the Hawkeye series, I do think that it would have been more fitting for Clint to be the one to make the sacrifice play here. It just didn't feel right for Natasha to die.
No, but I think that was also an IRL thing. I think wasn't Scarlett Johansson just done?
No, no, this was before she was in Black
No, but
Widow.
like, didn't she agree to do this and Black Widow and then just move on?
I don't know. I don't know if her contract is up at this point, or if she signed on for more movie for
Yeah,
shows or not.
I think she just was not into it anymore. I don't know for sure, but I think that might have been a factor.
Could be.
yeah, very possibly. I don't know. Obviously, I came into the MCU well after all of this happened. Um, uh, so yeah, I mean, what I would say is it was still a very powerful scene.
Hmm.
Definitely. I will
Yeah.
say this though. I feel like they could have swung that a little bit differently.
How
Like I
so?
said, I
Uh, in universe, what they could have done. Bear with me here. is there was a window of time where they probably could have brought to bear enough force. Like, if they'd sent Captain Marvel, for example, right? This is one of the reasons I'm like, there was a way to justify Captain Marvel being part of the time heist. If they'd sent Captain Marvel to go against Thanos just after he'd gotten the Soul Stone, they could have gotten it without a sacrifice play.
That's interesting.
In fact, now that I think about it, they theoretically could have.
They could have had Captain Marvel and Thor with Stormbreaker just go back to right after he completed the gauntlet, chop off his hand, use it to undo the snap.
Yes. That probably would have been the
I'm
more
pretty sure
intelligent
how it
thing
should
to
have
do.
ended did that.
Yes, actually, yeah. Now that I think about it,
Wouldn't I mean? Wouldn't that
where...
have? Wouldn't that have broken causality?
No, it wouldn't have. It
Oh,
would be no different from what they did already.
like
As
going
long as
back
they
to the
sent
past
it back
does
at the
not
exact
change-
same time.
Yeah,
I mean,
going
if they
back to
cut
the
his
past-
fucking hand off, that would be pretty different from what happened.
Yeah, but remember, going back to the past does not change the past. It just creates a new timeline.
As long as they just dumped the Infinity Stones back in the past, it would have been all good.
I'm not sure the what are they? The TVA would have agreed with you.
Nah, whatever.
Look, I'm gonna be real. Are we allowed to spoil the Loki? Is that technically? Do we count that as part of Phase 3 or Phase 4?
That's Phase 4.
Okay, well, let's just say powers that be. There are. I don't like part of the handling of the power scaling of the TVA because a certain spoiler character should not be that powerful.
Anyway,
we'll talk about that later.
Anyway, they get back. They get back to the present. They argue who does the snap, and then they have Smart Hulk do it.
Which, makes a lot of sense now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm. We get the amazing fight scene between Thanos, Stark, Thor, and Cap. That was a hell of a fight scene. So did you two watch this in theaters?
I did,
Yep.
yes.
So what were the reactions in theaters then? Because obviously that's something I missed.
I'm Canadian, and by the time
Polite
I
clapping.
also didn't...
Polite clapping
Huh?
then. Polite clapping then.
No. Oh, you mean at the end of the movie?
No, I mean when Cap got Mjolnir.
Everyone was too busy staring at the screen.
Everyone lost their absolute shits when I was watching it.
Because Americans have no movie etiquette.
Yes, no. Like I said, I'm Canadian. We have standards.
But yeah,
I mean, most of the entire third act was people losing their shit in the theater the first time I watched it.
Again, I missed that because I just watched it on my own on my sofa with the lights off.
It's one of those things that's like really hard to it's a once in a lifetime type of experience, you know?
And then of course the Avengers Assemble moment.
Yes. So
Let's
get
was
back
the
into
single most hype movie moment in the last decade.
I mean, we had been waiting for what 9-10 years at this point for that Avengers Assemble shit.
11, yeah. 11 years since the first Iron Man.
To be fair, I was basing it on the first Avengers movie rather than Iron Man itself, because the Avengers concept was not really brought into fruition until the OG Avengers movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yes.
I mean, maybe it's different for fucking comics readers, but like,
No, no.
can you
Even
honestly
in the
say
context of the
can you
movie,
honestly
it's
say
like
after 2008 Iron Man, like, oh yeah, we're definitely getting Avengers now?
I think there was a genuine possibility. I think people were hopeful, but they didn't. They were too
Yeah.
scared to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure there was hopes for it, but I don't think there was that expectation of like, oh yeah, there's definitely going to be an Avengers film, and we're definitely going to get that Avengers Assemble moment sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But once OG Avengers actually happened, then yeah, like there was that hankering for it, especially after they blew boulders at the end of Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Again, I say us. I watched Age of Ultron like maybe 2 weeks before I watched Endgame.
Yes. I have been watching the MCU since the first Iron Man came out in theaters.
I watched the MCU over the course of like maybe what 2 3 months I think.
Sounds about right.
Let me let me see if I can find in our media chat if can figure it out. Okay, I was it was around November, and then I got to Endgame sometime in when was it? January, I think. Yeah, January. So yeah, 2 months. Um. So yeah, then we get that big old battle scene, and where Spider Man's fucking contribution was just saying hi, I'm Peter Parker to everyone he saw.
And also, that one Forbidden Dojin,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that.
the "Hey Peter Parker" moment that launched,
Mm-hmm.
that just like made everyone horny for some reason.
Yeah, it
So
was good to
apparently,
hear
Brie
those reactions.
Larson saying "Hey Peter Parker" made everyone very, very hot and bothered. I
Yeah, I
don't
thought.
know
I can
why.
I don't agree, but I can understand why, considering the tone she used.
Eh,
That was an intrigued tone.
Is that
yeah, I
the
thought it
word
was
you'd use
more
for it?
play. I was gonna go with playful, I guess, but
I mean, yes. It's like I think we can all agree that the degenerate option was not what they were going for,
No,
oh,
that's
even
absolutely not.
remotely.
absolutely not what they were going for.
Yeah, yeah, but no, the whole climax is absolutely insane. Um, oh, and we get the
Also, can I
climax
just say,
because
it
of
it kind of just flew by.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a whole last 45 minutes of the movie, and it just goes by so fast because so
Yeah,
much
I
shit
was like
happens.
in theaters. I was like, "Oh, it's over." Like I no, more specifically, when I looked it up and realized it was a 40-minute sequence, I was like, "I'm sorry, it was how long?"
Mm-hmm.
It just flew by in the theater.
Mm-hmm. No, it was definitely as much as it was 100% the longest movie in the MCU. It did not drag as much as the as much as some of the others did.
Mm-hmm. It's a much more. It flows a lot better than many other climax scenes.
Yeah.
But there's
Also goes
almost
very well with
everyone.
"You Say Run."
There's a
To
lot
be
of
fair,
really
"You Say
good
Run"
moments.
does go with everything.
There's a lot of really good moments throughout the climax. Like we already mentioned Cap picking up Mjolnir, which was just fucking hype as hell. Then there's just the whole Cap, Thor, Iron Man fight with Thanos that kicks things off. There's Ant Man going Giant Man and punching a Leviathan. There's Oh, and of course, one of my favorite bits is Wanda utterly crushing Thanos in a
Oh,
one-on-one
that.
fight.
I
It
mean,
also is one of the most
that's
memed moments in the series. It's
yeah. I
just
mean,
like
it's a darkly hilarious line of Wanda just going, "You took everything from me," and Thanos going, "Who the fuck are you?"
And it's funny, but at the same time, like she has no way of knowing that this is a different Thanos than the one who killed Vision.
Fucking Thanos takes it pretty in stride that he's got a lot of people gunning for him.
it's true. It's like he's really not surprised anymore when someone says they want him dead
It's a
or
whole
that they
whole
he.
ass M Bison. But for me, it was Tuesday a moment.
Oh my god, that you're right. Rip Raul Julia.
Yeah.
Wish Raul Julia could have been in the MCU. That would have been amazing,
Yes. But
right?
no. I do like that Wanda just absolutely curb stomps him, and he has to call down an orbital bombardment just to get her off of him.
Yeah.
Like, I think the only ones to actually outright give Thanos trouble in a one-on-one fight are Wanda, Thor, Carol, and Steve with Mjolnir.
To be fair, even Steve with Mjolnir was less of an issue than the
Steve,
others.
Steve with Mjolnir still gave him a hell of a beating,
Mm.
which was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Uh, and then we get to that big moment of Tony snapping the fuck out of Thanos.
Yeah.
Which is just great.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I'd like to point out is that was like how do you all feel about the whole the women of Marvel moment?
I liked it.
It it was all right. I feel like it was handled better in Infinity War though. When it was just Wanda, Okoye, and Natasha. It didn't feel like
I think the point
gratuitous.
I think the issue with this one is that it just felt so scripted. Like they all
It
just
felt,
Yes,
happened to be
it was
standing
very
together,
much.
and
yeah, it
then
felt too contrived.
like if it had happened like organically. I mean, obviously we're talking about a movie. Nothing can happen that organically, but like if it just happened like in the middle of combat, then yeah, it would have felt better. But the fact that they all just happen to be standing there is like, yeah, let's team up, cool. Yeah, there is an element of contrivance there.
Hmm.
It's not even that it's like contrived that's the problem. It's that it's like it's I don't know. It's there's are there were ways to do it more organically.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's also made unintentionally comedic by having like t- two of the some of the most ridiculously powerful characters in the setting go up against characters whose only power is that they have uh like a couple weapons and that's it. It's like the power scaling on this does not
I mean
compute.
that's the thing. Like, how many of them
You,
actually do anything after they team up?
I mean, it's literally just Wanda, Valkyrie, Carol, and those are the ones who make major contributions.
Yeah,
A couple of them fire beams at Thanos briefly, but like Carol's the one basically running the gauntlets to the portal.
yeah,
Speaking of the gauntlet run, I do like that it's basically Hawkeye passing it off to T'Challa, who hands it off to Peter, who hands it
yeah,
off to Carol.
yeah.
It's the fact that it's basically just a big old relay race for the freaking Infinity Gauntlet is really funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Is a
really
great
fun.
moment.
It's great. Also, I love Peter activating instant kill with his spider suit. That was fun.
And it instantly going wrong for him because he just gets trapped under the mound of bodies.
Yeah. But yeah,
Um,
playing keep away with the gauntlet was fun.
yeah. Also fun is just fucking Doctor Strange's reaction to seeing everyone just going to Wong. Is that everyone then? What, you wanted more?
I mean, yes, I think is the answer to that question.
Also,
Pretty sure
while
he.
I am oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I am kind of sad that Doctor Strange didn't contribute much to the battle overall. He did get his big moment in the spotlight during his wizard duel with Thanos in the previous movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I feel like Doctor Strange's thing in this movie. I'm wondering if there's an in-universe explanation because, like, it feels like he's a bit underutilized.
Who do you
I
think
feel like he
was?
could have multitasked. Like, he was holding back like water. I feel
Here's
like he
here's
could
the
have
thing.
done more.
Here's the thing. I feel like you can explain all of Doctor Strange's actions post that looking into the future scene of, okay, he's looked into the future, he knows exactly how this has to go.
Like, I guess my question is, I would have appreciated if they'd showed why things would have gone wrong if he'd done more than just hold back some water.
Well, tell that to the What If writers.
Mm.
I mean, there's also the really, really funny take that he was still spiteful and specifically chose the future in which Tony would die.
No, I don't think he's that spiteful.
Oh, he's
Yeah, he's not
absolutely
that much
not.
of an
No, that is
asshole.
absolutely a 100% a meme, but it is kind of funny to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So yeah, after that we get the funeral scene.
Yeah, I completely forgot that okay, did anyone realize that the kid from Iron Man 3 was that guy
I
at
did,
the end?
yes, I did.
I recognize him.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Again,
grew up and looks completely different.
Again, admittedly, 2 months.
That's fair. No, yeah, for me it was like literally years ago.
Like, I don't expect anyone who, watched the movies as they came out to have realized it without having to look something up. For 2 months, I'm fairly sure I also read something, like, I probably read it, like, on Wikipedia, like, oh, hey, he comes back in Endgame. He does? Okay, cool, I'll look out for him. Oh, there's that kid. Or here's this person I don't recognize. It's probably that kid, right? Yeah. Like, that's probably what my thought process was.
And it's understandable. I just
Yeah, no,
wish
I said I don't like begrudge anyone who didn't realize that having watched them as they came out because it was a long ass fucking time. Because what that was in what Iron Man 3 or 2?
3.
3. So that was May 2013. So that was 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
God.
So yeah, I am not gonna blame anyone for not recognizing the kid, especially considering he was, what would he have been in 2013?
Child.
Ty Simpkins, born in 2001. So he was 12 in 2013 and 18 in 2019.
Yep.
Yeah, puberty definitely happened.
Yeah, puberty's gonna
Mhm.
fucking happen. Um, and then we get Steve taking back the stones and then deciding to go the long way around. So, no.
Which, again, completely. So, no, I'm not upset that they did that, right? Because it makes perfect sense on a, on a narrative level.
Hmm.
Right? That makes total sense to me, narratively.
Yeah.
My problem is that they spent, like, a massive part of the movie specifically joking about how you weren't gonna do that, and then they did it. Like at that point, you should just like it's the lack of self-awareness that gets me. I think.
Mm.
Um, I mean, there's a,
No, Am I alone in this, or like?
I mean, I'm more thinking about the implications of it in that it means that Steve like lets all the bullshit he knows is gonna happen,
Yeah.
and that
So
Yeah.
there's the whole
I'm not in favor of the time loop.
9/11, several assassinations.
I'm not in favor
That's
of the
like
time loop suggestion. I think it's more likely an alternate timeline.
no, but that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Even if it's an
Well,
alternate timeline, he'd still know.
well, no. He goes to an alternate timeline and changes the timeline based off of his future knowledge. And then he jumps back to the present using his Pym particles.
here's the thing.
So,
Here's the
up
thing.
back to the regular timeline.
They did not explain time travel well enough to explain this.
Okay, so according to the Russos, traveling back to the 1940s, Cap created a new branch reality where there were two Captain Americas, one, the one that we've been following throughout the movies, and another who's it on ice. Um, and basically after Peggy died, Cap traveled, hopped back onto the main timeline with the Pym particles.
Okay, that makes a certain amount of sense. Wish
So
it didn't,
there-
but it does.
So there's nothing to say that he didn't fuck around with the timeline in the alternate timeline.
Where was that what if?
Don't know. They might be saving that for season 2. Because there is a season 2 coming. Sometime
Really?
either
That's
later
kind
this
of
or
surprising.
early next year. Yeah, no, they originally planned it for it to be 20 odd episodes in one season, but they split up into 2 seasons of 9 episodes each. Presumably due to production reasoning.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Also,
presumably so that they don't have to pay season 2 rates. Because I've heard that that's apparently a thing. Apparently, you have to pay different rates for an actual season 2. So what they generally do is just split one season up into 2.
Interesting.
It's dickish, but very Disney. Or Hollywood in general. So I totally understand.
Yes.
Like it's what they apparently did with Cuphead.
Ugh.
Anyway,
Haven't watched Cuphead.
that's a discussion for a different podcast.
Oh, also, apparently Cap was always worthy of picking up Mjolnir, but
Oh,
he
that-
didn't
that-
pick
that's
up.
implied.
100%.
Yeah.
Straight up implied, yeah.
Like, the reason he didn't pick up Mjolnir back in Age of Ultron was because he didn't want to
Upstage
upset
Thor.
Thor.
Yeah. No, I think everyone figured that out.
Yeah.
They figured it out in Age of Ultron. Like the characters figured it out in Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
Like compared to everyone else, Steve did not look like he was actually trying.
Mm-hmm. Also, I know we skipped on this, but can we please talk about the Thanos theory real quick?
Oh
Okay.
God.
Believe me, I have a lot to say on the Thanos protocol.
Where was that what
Proceed.
if? Where was that what if, Disney?
So they had the single worst word of God I've ever seen, in which they debunked the explicitly stupidest version of the Thanos. Like, they specifically, one of the producers did address the Thanos protocol.
The fact that they
Yeah,
did
what
that in the
regular-
first place is fucking insane.
Yes. So what they had to, because too many people were talking about it. But basically, what the producer said is that if Ant-Man had gone up his butt. So for those of you who somehow cannot guess from the title, Thanos Protocol refers to the scenario in which Ant-Man shrinks, blows up Thanos' butt, and then expands or something. The version that they refuted is the dumbest version, where an executive producer sent out a tweet, which the fact that let's just be thankful for the internet in this one very specific situation where they actually forced the executive producer to address it in a tweet. That if he'd done so, Thanos' sphincter pressure would have just crushed him as he was trying to expand. Here's the thing. That is the dumbest possible take on the Thanos Protocol.
What would your take have been?
Literally, there's so many incredibly powerful weapons that you could that Ant-Man could shrink and take with him up Thanos' butt, and then he could exit the butt, and then they could expand that or just detonate it.
True.
Right?
They could have just shrunk a nuke and stuck it up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I found a really funny Word of God thing.
Oh, God.
Apparently, New Master 69, guess who it is?
Oh my god, who is it?
Guess.
Is it Wong?
It's Wong.
Oh my god, it's Wong. That's really funny. That is amazingly funny. If only for the fact that Wong deadass.
No, you do yours first, and then I'll do mine.
Wong deadass, the super serious, constant straight man, named his account Noobmaster69. Haha, it's the weed number.
Okay, here's my thing. Wong made an account called Noobmaster69 and was playing Fortnite while he was the Sorcerer fucking Supreme.
No, that's not really as surprising. I feel like
because he became the Sorcerer Supreme after fucking Strange got fucking snapped.
Yeah.
Like, he's supposed to be fucking protecting the fucking Earth. And he's there just like, nah, I've got games of Fortnite to play.
I mean, look, it's not like there's always some sort of death threat to the planet. Sometimes you have time, so you just play some Fortnite.
But again, it's just like... Right? It's like, Wong is the one to be doing this, to be shirking his duty. Oh dear. That's, yeah. The idea of Wong being New Master 69 is great.
I love it.
It's a great piece
of
trivia.
Can we just like
Wong is the best. I really hope he doesn't die in the next Doctor Strange. I would be so sad if that happens.
I feel like as long as Benedict Wong doesn't want to leave,
and I'm almost certain he fucking doesn't. Because why the fuck would he? He's having the time of his life getting to play Wong.
He's having the time of his life, and I can't imagine paycheck is hurting things.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Also, Wong is super popular.
Yeah. So I can't, like, I would be very shocked if he died. Very shocked. Is there anything else we need to discuss about Endgame before we get... Because I feel like we could have probably spent an entire fucking episode on Endgame on its own.
True.
Yeah, I think
one thing that should be mentioned is that this, along with the Incredible Hulk, are the only two movies in the MCU that doesn't have a post-credit scene.
Right, because instead it had that whole tribute thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the little tribute to Iron Man at the end with the clanging on the forge. But it didn't have an actual post-credit scene.
It's kind of interesting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it makes perfect sense why they did that.
Mm-hmm.
Gives this film a sense of finality to it, you know?
Yeah.
Again, as we've established. Or did we talk about this on stream or before? The sense of finality actually works against it for Phase 4.
We talked about it like 20 minutes ago, or maybe 30.
Look,
We've been on this mood for a while.
I look, my memory is not the best.
Oh, no. I get you. I get you.
Um,
But
but unless
I
there's
also I also do want to briefly mention just the whole sequence of Tony at looking across the battlefield at Doctor Strange before he realizes, oh shit, I gotta do this, huh?
yeah.
Like Doctor Strange just like raises the finger and is like, I feel like people might have missed that.
I didn't miss it.
I
Don't know who
didn't
did.
either, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if people did.
I feel like people were paying way too much attention to that, to the movie as a whole, to have missed it. And I feel like they would have, even if they missed the finger. Strange sentence. Like I feel like you understand the point of it of Stark looking
A
at
significant
Strange.
look,
Yeah,
yeah.
you understand the significance of the look. It's like, oh, this is what he meant.
Mm-hmm.
Also, oh, we can actually talk about this now. There's a really cool little thing that a lot of people pointed out. You know how they started Infinity War kind of adversarial, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stark and Strange.
Oh,
Can
I've
we just talk
completely.
about the fact that their names are Stark and Strange?
Yeah.
But yeah, so they started the movie in a very adversarial fashion,
Mhm.
and Strange called him Stark constantly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did his time stone shenanigans, and then he was suddenly much more cordial and
Mm.
started calling him Tony,
Yeah.
which really is a very good piece of foreshadowing.
It is a very nice subtle piece of foreshadowing. Yeah. I also forgot to mention that the scene where they are talking on Ebony Moore's ship is fucking great.
Oh, that scene is great.
If
Yeah.
if only for fucking Peter Parker going, "Hi, I'm Peter Parker, Doctor Strange. Oh, you're using your made up names. I'm Spider Man."
Which, look, to be fair, it's not really hard to fault him.
No, I'm
Like,
not.
it's hard
I'm
to
not
fault
blaming him for it. It's just so fucking hilarious.
It is funny as hell.
Oh god. But speaking of Spider Man, should we get on to Far From Home then?
Yes.
So yeah.
Spider Man Far From Home. The movie where Nick Fury wasn't actually there.
It makes Nick Fury's actions in that movie make so much sense.
Oh yeah.
Because like there's something off
Mm.
about him, and I could tell even before I knew for sure.
He
Like,
was
there's just
weirdly
something off.
dickish in that film.
Right? He's like Nick Fury's not a dick. Or no,
Nick
the
Fury is a
fact that
dick. Nick Fury is a dick, but he's
No,
not that much
it's
of a
the-
dick.
No. It's that he was a dick to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a dick only to people who can take it.
Mm. And also the fact that he was taken in by Mysterio seemed weird after the reveal about Mysterio.
Yeah, because again, Nick Fury has memorized the files on everyone who so much as sneezed in the general vicinity of an Avenger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way he would have missed it.
Mm-hmm. The other this is something that I'm not as much of a fan of in this movie that they did. I'm not sure I like the whole MJ romance thing.
They did it because that's what the characters do.
I get that that's the Spider-Man thing. MJ and Peter Parker get together, but I feel like this MJ it doesn't work as well.
It does not know.
I feel like it's better executed on in the next Spider-Man movie, but I can see your gripes.
Like keeping them as like as really good friends, yeah, no, that absolutely works. But like romantically, I'm not sure how well it works in this film. Okay, it's not even the romance. It's like Peter's like sudden interest in her that just feels like it comes out of nowhere.
That one I can understand because he's like a horny teenage boy, and she is a girl who talks to him. Is friendly with him. So
I guess.
I don't. That is not as much of a stretch for me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, trying to think what else to mention in terms of this film. Um, I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal is very good in this movie. I did really like him as Quentin Beck / Mysterio.
Gyllenhaal or Gyllenhaal?
Gyllenhaal.
Is it Gyllenhaal? Whatever.
Uh,
Um, what else? Oh, the fucking sadness that is the life of Peter's decathlon teacher.
Oh god, that poor bastard.
Because he was the one whose like wife pretended to be snapped and just ran away, wasn't he?
yes, I just like. Also, how do you feel about the fact that they decided to give it a name and call it the blip?
So the snap is what Thanos did. The blip is what Bruce did.
Yeah,
We didn't even mention that Bruce is the one who undid the snap. Shit.
No, we did.
we did. We just
Oh,
didn't
okay.
really focus on it that long. Because like, who else would have done it and survived? Thor
He barely
might have
survived.
Yeah,
He got that like weird little baby arm now.
yeah. Here's the thing: Thor, like as he was in Infinity War, might have been able to do it. Thor in Endgame was not in like.
Well,
good enough
you know what's
condition.
funny? They could have probably used that as an excuse to make him buff again, or at least skinny,
Yeah, very possibly.
by saying, "Oh well, it burned off all his fat."
Possibly, yeah.
I'm glad that they didn't do that. That would have had some really yikesy
Unfortunate
implications.
connotations, yes,
Yeah.
but like they could have.
Mm.
And like,
Mhm.
let's be real, they probably did toss the idea around in the writing room at some point.
I'm fairly sure it is actually mentioned. Like they wanted him to. Yeah, initially Thor was supposed to revert to his old chisel self in the middle of Endgame, but Hemsworth successfully argued in favor of retaining Thor's new physique. So yeah, Hemsworth wanted to stay in the fat suit.
Good on him.
Where do you want to bet it's because he just did not want to do the
It's very
hell
possible. Yeah, it's
workout.
very possible he didn't want to do the hell fucking training to get back into that sort
hell
of shape.
training where they make you dehydrated and not get enough nutrients. Because, like, that sort of muscle definition is not normal.
Yeah,
It's not something you get by being healthy.
yeah.
Like, that's something, like, I believe Kumail Nanjiani was also talking about it for his role on the Eternals. How, like...
I think I mean
gotta-
very recently Robert Pattinson was saying the same thing about Batman.
Yeah,
Yep.
because, like, have that sort of muscle definition, you kind of have to literally be starving.
You
Yeah.
have to dehydrate yourself for like the
Hydrated
better
and
part of the
starving.
day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
So yeah, I don't blame no blame whatsoever. And I think it felt more in character as well. I think it worked better for Thor's character in the movie.
Mm.
But yeah, returning to Spider-Man. I don't like that we're all silent because that makes me think that we all don't like the movie. But
No,
I do.
no,
Oh, I like
okay.
the movie a lot.
It's
It's just
kind of okay. I like it's a bit weird that they have that whole. It's like the whole when Peter is changing, the classmate walks in, and it's this whole.
That
Yeah.
was a part of the film that I didn't like because it felt like a rehash from the previous one of Peter's jealous at the guy who's interested in the girl he's interested in, sort of thing.
Mm.
No, no, I was talking about the fact that uh, uh, the classmates spread around the rumor that like Peter was banging that one agent.
Oh yeah,
That was kind of not a great look because he is supposed to be underage in this movie, I think.
mm-hmm.
So it's a bit gross.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, no, I
No, no, no.
totally
We're
agree. Just
agreeing with you.
completely forgot about it happening.
Yeah,
that's
it's
also fair.
What else was there? Oh, fucking well, Skrull Fury recruiting Peter by knocking Ned out.
that was funny.
Again, I feel like Nick Fury is not mean to kids.
Also,
No,
the fact
that was
that
probably supposed to be a hint.
yeah,
But it's not Nick Fury.
also the
That-
fact
no,
that they also the fact that they kept getting interrupted, and Skrull Fury just getting increasingly annoyed. Um, I liked that Ned got to have a romance.
I like how it was handled too. It was like treated as this whole big thing throughout the movie, and then it's like, oh yeah, we broke up. It was a summer fling.
Which is probably the most realistic depiction of a high school student in like a fantasy movie in a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of just what they do.
Yeah.
At least as far as I understand. I wouldn't know myself.
High school.
Um. What else is okay? So the scene where Beck just completely mind fucks Peter is pretty fucking great.
Yeah, that's like it's a very trippy scene.
Mm. Um, like it's just really well done. Um, I think Holland does a really good job of selling it as well. Of selling just that sheer fear of not knowing what's real and what's not. Um, what else is there? It was nice to see Happy coming back and helping Peter.
That was fun.
And then that scene, you know, where Peter's creating his suit and Happy's just smiling.
Yeah, there's some very surprisingly emotional moments in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially just like the whole mind fucking sequence is really disturbing overall. But seeing Peter get hit by a fucking train
Mm.
just right the fuck out of nowhere is just like,
You know, they put a lot of nods into this movies into these movies.
Mm.
Referencing and usually reflecting poorly on Peter. It's like again, it's very likely a nod to the train sequence in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
mhm.
In fact, the last one also had a nod to the train sequence in Spider-Man 2, and the next one just has Alfred Molina. So I wonder what the nod to Spider-Man 2 is in that movie. It's not a spoiler, right? Like he's just in the trailer.
Yeah, he's in the trailer, or he's in
I'm
a
not
trailer.
gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything about the movie. Just watch it. You'll see.
Yes, I really want to, but COVID.
Yeah. I really didn't.
Sorry.
I want to go to I'd go to a theater right now if I could, but like COVID.
I can't help you with that. I'm sorry. I can't.
It's coming to Disney Plus soon, I think.
In about a month, at
Hmm.
most. Like, I think it's usually like 4 months after it premieres in theaters or something. Something like that.
Um, so then we get the what do we get the final fight scene in London.
Oh, we're just skipping around a bunch, aren't we?
We've also been already going for 2.5 hours.
I will say really like the joke of Peter of Happy queuing up AC/DC and Peter saying, "Oh, I love Led Zeppelin."
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the fact that Peter is a Zoomer, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a plot point. Not even a
Yep.
plot point, but it's just like it's referenced multiple times. It's really funny to me.
Look,
Also,
look. Before I even watched any of the MCU films, my favorite meme was the whole thing of Peter teaching all the other Avengers memes
Mm.
and just
it is
pissing
great.
Stark off. Like teaching Thor to yell "yeet" when he throws Mjolnir.
Memes.
Look, sometimes you just gotta.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, the final fight scene is really well done. Very good, very fun scene when Ned, MJ, Flash, and Happy get trapped in. I think it's under the Tower of London or in the Tower of London.
Something like
And they
that.
get attacked by the drones, and they all admit stuff. And Happy's is just like, "I have a crush on Spider-Man's mom."
No, not mom, aunt.
Aunt, sorry, aunt. And
Okay, to be fair, there's not a lot to admit there.
yeah, but
Pretty sure everyone could tell.
Aunt
it's
May is
just
hot.
it's just the looks that MJ and Ned give him because they know who Spider-Man is and they know exactly who Happy is. So it's like, just like, dude, really? That's what you're
Look,
gonna admit now?
it's hard to blame him for feeling that way, honestly.
Um, yeah, and then Peter defeats Beck, who gets killed by his own drone. But unfortunately, fake news comes in.
Then we get the reveal that. By the way, can we just a shout out to? I always forget his name.
J.K.
J.K.
Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Yes.
J.K.
Shout out
Simmons.
to J.K. Simmons. He has successfully played J. Jonah Jameson in a grand total of what? 3 movies now?
Five. He played
Three,
all.
no, 3 franchises now. Like
Hmm.
3 different universes.
What was the other one?
Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, and
He was
MCU
in Amazing
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Was he not? I'm like 90% sure
He's
he was
not.
in.
No, he wasn't.
Nope.
Really?
He wasn't in those movies.
Thought J. Jonah Jameson was in those movies, and it was like still J.K. Simmons.
No.
Nope. Sorry.
Oh, J.K. Simmons is now.
Though
What's his face?
though he has been the voice for J. Jonah Jameson in like a ton of the cartoons and some of the video games.
Is he not the voice in?
In PS4 Spider-Man, no.
I don't. That seems like an oversight. I feel like he would have done it. They have the budget for it, I'm sure.
Let me see who it was then, actually, because that is an interesting question. Spider-Man PS4. It is an interesting question to see who played him, because that I think was sort of the kind of the start of the current portrayal of J. Jonah Jameson. Darren DePaul, that's who played him. What's he been in? Um, he was Sin and Greed in Shazam.
Interesting.
J.K. Simmons does a lot of voice work. He's
No,
great.
this is not J.K. Simmons. This is Darren DePaul who did
Oh, okay.
Jameson in the PS4 Spider-Man. He was also Arden in Final Fantasy 15 and all that related stuff.
I've heard of him. Is he in Doom? I have a feeling he was in Doom.
Yes,
2016.
he was Samuel Hayden.
Yeah, that's who I know. Where I know him from.
Yeah,
he was really good in that.
And Reinhardt in Overwatch. More recently,
Oh.
he is Kerry and Stonefall in Legend of Vox Machina.
Oh, okay.
He's been in a lot of video games as well. Oh, it was Truman fucking Zanardo in Psychonauts 2. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, definitely a very good voice. But yeah, just fucking J. Jonah Jameson is great. And I'm so happy that he came back for the MCU. That J.K. Simmons came back.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons is a gem.
It just would not be the same without him.
Mm. So yeah, because we are,
It's been a while.
Over 2 hours in. What is there anything else to say about Spider-Man?
It's a pretty good movie. I don't like it quite as much as Homecoming or No Way Home, but Far From Home is still pretty good.
It's got major middle child syndrome, but it's still good.
Again, it probably also doesn't help that it's coming off the back of Endgame.
Yeah.
And it's having to be the first movie after that to really write the MCU universe after that.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say it doesn't help that it's another movie in which the Peter's relationship with Tony Stark is kind of a big thing.
I really do hate that so many of the villains are so connected to it's too. Mysterio is the second villain in a row who is connected more to Tony Stark than Peter Parker.
Mm.
I think it's particularly because Peter Parker in this universe just hasn't had the time
Yeah.
to develop his own rogues gallery.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, though, big ups to Jon Favreau. Not only is he, kind of single-handedly steered the MCU to greatness,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, and also he's, surprisingly good in the role as Happy.
Yeah. No, he does a really
He's
good job as Happy.
Yeah,
He's good.
Which I feel like he maybe wasn't comfortable being Happy, in the earlier movies, because he's not as big a part in the Iron Man movies, but he's really come into his own on the Spider-Man stuff, and
Yeah.
more recently.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to finally getting to be able to see the culmination of that. Was it post credit or mid credits? I think it was mid credits.
It was a mid-credit scene. The post-credit scene was Nick Fury.
Was Fury and Hill being Skrulls?
Yeah.
I find it funny that this entire time the real Fury has basically just been on holiday on the Skrull ship.
Yeah, no, him being on
He's
holiday
earned,
was
the man's
a
earned it
scene.
at this point.
Yes, he has.
Just the fact that you just went, I can take a holiday. Nothing much is going to happen after the fucking cataclysm that was the Thanos incident, right? Right? Just comes back to find out what happened. God damn it, Parker! Fucking my vacation up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, I honestly can't think of much else to say.
Can I?
So
Yeah,
that's everything.
Yep.
We are into phase 4 now, which won't be happening for a while probably.
Because Phase 4 is still ongoing as we speak.
Yeah. Um,
The next Marvel thing we'll be talking about is WandaVision. We're going to be doing the Phase 4 series individually.
yeah, the TV series, yeah, we are going to do individually.
Kind of have to.
Mm. Um, so just as an estimate, so we've covered what 5 movies this time. So if we, it'll probably be sometime after either Doctor Strange or Thor. I would say that we do the first Phase 4 movies.
Yes, yeah.
I'd say up through Thor 4, probably. I mean, Thor 4, yeah, Thor 4, probably.
Thor 4 is probably the best place to do it.
I mean, after that, it really will be a while because we'll have to wait until at least 2023
Yep.
to get to the third Ant-Man and Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the other future stuff that's happening, so tomorrow is more D&D. The two parties are together, so it's always gonna be fun. Tuesday should be Fuzzy and I doing something or other.
We just do stuff at this point.
Maybe we'll start Mass Effect 2. Who the fuck knows?
Stranger things have happened.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone watched Stranger Things? Should we put that on the like?
I've watched
list of
all 3
topics?
seasons. Yeah,
Stranger Things is good.
All right,
it's a good show. It's
I'll stick it on the list then. I mean, I can't talk about it because I've not watched it, but you know, if you all have. Thursday we'll be continuing Ace Attorney. We've got to get Maya off a murder charge again.
Fun times.
She just like always gets accused of murder, huh?
It's either her or Phoenix.
Really, I mean, the fact that she makes a viable suspect really say something. I feel like she should rethink some of her life choices at that point.
And then next Saturday we will be discussing Demon Slayer up through the end of the Entertainment District arc. Obviously, if you've been watching the anime podcasts or listening to the anime podcasts, we've already had a lot to say about certainly the second season stuff, but we'll be discussing first season stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
And how it differed from the manga as well.
Yep.
Otherwise, as always, thanks for watching, and we hope that you enjoyed us rambling on about Marvel for nearly 3 hours.
Almost as long as Endgame. Ooh.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Later.